Yo. Oh, that's what I'm forgetting. I'm like, I'm forgetting something. I gotta run the ad. There we go. Tuna. Dingus. What up, guys? Hopefully my audio's... Oh, am I loud? I feel like I might be loud. I changed some audio stuff and I feel like I'm peaking. That's probably... Is that better? Hello, 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 hello. Maybe that's it. Is that fine? I don't know. Why is my... Oh, right. We're doing some tests. Hello, test, 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 test. Maybe about there. Hello. 800 more BTC, Bitcoin, and I get to have a Doodle / card, but I don't have any ideas. Ah. No checks is Megamind. No, I didn't know. Checks was here for the weekend, and now he is gone. Give me just a second. Finish setting up. The ad is running anyway for any non-ad. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Non-paying people. Let me just pull up the documentation I need. I did a little bit of work. I guess I'll talk about that once I actually, for real, go live. I did a smidge of work off stream, but it wasn't too much. It was just mostly trying to wrap my head around what we're doing. Usually I don't work off stream, at least on the game itself, but oh, yawn. We'll talk about that in a minute though. In exactly 6 seconds we'll talk about it. Okay. Hello. It's I, Beats, ruler of this land. Yo, Tebow, what up, dude? Welcome on in, everyone. Hello, DDP. Hello, Tuna. Hello, Dingus. Hello, Tebow. What's up with y'all? How's your days going? I'm trying to think of what we need to talk about. Hello, community, indeed. Hail and well met. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's really too much crazy stuff to talk about. We had me and my friend Checkers did our tier list the other day, which did give me some good ideas of cards we need to tweak. It actually kind of put a lot of stuff into perspective, which was nice. So that was cool. We'll probably look at that again and try to figure out what cards we need to actually like fix and stuff. I think I put some, I updated some notes that we can just kind of take a look at for that. But the other thing I've been doing is trying to figure out, one of the things that I kind of just been overwhelmed with the number of cards we've been making, because we have, let's see, 28 28 new cards for the game. Technically we could call it like 25 if we're not including the new gods, which I think are going to remain in beta. But yeah, it was a great stream. At first you'd think it would just be a fun thing to do, but it ended up being really bringing up some great points. Yeah, for sure. And I think his perspective was good. Like, he doesn't have like a ton of game knowledge, especially with like the new stuff, but it's kind of nice to just have like a different perspective on it. Like, if he had played all this stuff, I don't know if we would have gotten quite the same perspective, you know? I mean, maybe we would have, but what I miss, there was a, me and my friend did a, he was here and we kind of just hung out and did a tier list of every armies card. Well, every player card. So he's a smart guy, clearly. So I think his perspective is very insightful. Yeah, for sure. Sheesh. I see. Yeah. I mean, we can show what the tier list looked like. If you're curious. Well, yeah, that's the crazy thing. Right now we have, again, 28 new cards, which is insane, right? I didn't even realize how many we had. And we have 51 cards in the current game. So we've almost, you know, we're almost halfway there to adding double the number of cards. Maybe we should pump the brakes, but yeah, sort of. We'll get to that in a second. That is what we're talking about today. But final tier list looked a little something like this. Hold on, let's actually show you what it looks like. Hold on, there we go. We just did it in tabletop, but final tier list looked a little something like this. Oh, this guy was here. A lot of these. Yo, Deep Toot, thank you for the resubscribe at tier 1. 6 months.
Deep Toot 123 just subscribed.
Oh wait.
Oh hell yeah.
They subscribed for 7 months. Never mind. I don't know why it said 6 months here, but 7 months there. Resubscribed for 6 months at tier 1. They have been subscribed for 7 months. I don't understand what that means. Either way, thank you, Toot. You are a dear. But yeah, this was the final tier list. Honestly, I'm pretty okay with everything in S. The only thing, like, the idea is like A and B, pretty solid, right? Like these cards don't really need to move, right? They're fine. We don't need them to be more or less powerful. It's fine. Most in S tier, probably okay as well. The biggest one we're gonna need to pay attention to is Blood Moon Assassin. From the cards that aren't super new, I would tend to agree with the tier list with some of minor tweaks, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Like, and some things could be like higher up in the tier or lower in the tier, but we just like, there's too many cards to like make sure that these cards are there. I think honestly, I might put Magic in tier A maybe, but like it's kind of hard to say, especially with like the new tweaks, you know. A lot of these just have been untested. It's also hard to rank the gods because like most of them pretty powerful effects. They're all pretty good, you know. But yeah, Blood Moon Assassin, we're really gonna need to see if it's broken. It probably might be with altruism, so we'll play around with that. What else? Yeah, all the rest in S, I think I'm okay with, except maybe War. War we're probably gonna need to nerf, at least the new War, because now he procs himself and stuff, so it's a little different. What else? Yeah, a lot of these cards mostly need to be fixed, with the exception of like these three. These are kind of just situational because they can be really good in the right deck, but bad in a deck that doesn't suit them, right? So basically all these cards need to be reworked slightly, at the very least. But yeah, it's a good gives us a good idea of cards that are kind of just performing poorly or just feel weak, right? Doesn't even matter if the cards are actually balanced. They just, if they feel bad, they are bad, you know, in a way. I think Magic is perfectly B. Yeah, B is maybe, you know, maybe is correct. I don't know, either way, but Magic is made so much better with all the synergies. Agreed. Hey, are these cards in game right now? I kind of feel like playing. Have there been any major changes to the overall rules that I should think about, or any custom rules you want to test? No, honestly, the rules are set. I don't think we're changing the rules. As there might be like clarification to rules. The only rule that I might change, and it's not even a change, it's just like solidifying things, is like making sure that there are like adjacencies, you know, like, so you could say like, oh, a card adjacent to this card gains whatever, but that's already kind of in the game. It's just not super clarified that like it's kind of a grid, you know, but I'm also kind of unsure about that one. Might just be too late to add that. You have the beta code, right, Dingus? So you should be able to play with all the current cards. They're not in the main game, but I believe you have the beta code, right? I think I gave it to you. Yep, got the beta. Okay, yeah, so it's all in beta. Yep, it's all there. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. They're all in there. I don't have the decks, like the pre-built decks made, but so you can do it kind of however you want, but or if you want, I could just take a screenshot and send you the pre-made decks that we have so far. But we have a Fire A statue that I won in the competition, remember? Of course, yeah. Chiseled out of pure granite. Oh, so you'd rather use the pre-made deck? Not necessarily. If you want to just play the game as the base, you can. But I don't know if it's balanced around, like, if you just took all the beta cards and threw them into the deck, I think you probably wouldn't have enough lands. You know, I think it's not quite balanced around the main, you know, original way to play the game right now. Also, I think there's only one copy of each card. I don't know. The copies in the beta deck are probably kind of messed up because I think the way Dexterous does it is kind of weird, but you might be able to balance it. I don't know. I mean, you definitely could. It's just probably kind of weird right now. Yeah, the blank cards are there on purpose because if the blank cards aren't there when I update the game, then I have to re-import the cards and then save the beta and then update the beta. But if they're blank, I can just update it and then it just updates the blank card to a non-blank card. So it just basically makes my life easier. The copies of cards might be kind of screwed up though. So here we are. It's a beta. What do you want, you know? Damn, the guy thinks ahead. I try. Anyway, that was the tier list. Extra challenge. There you go. Anyway, so that was the tier list. So we'll have to talk about these. But one of the main things we need to talk about as well is I came up with a somewhat of a plan. This is probably the maximum number of cards we are going to add, 15. Which, oh god, I'm clicking on the background, which is probably too many because it's a ridiculous number of cards, but this is the maximum that we're gonna add to the game from here on. Well, for the base game. The base game will be done at 15 cards, if not before then. Nova, hey, how's it going? Hello, hello. How are you doing today? Welcome on in. So yeah, the goal is to just add So I counted up the number of cards we have total for just the entire game, beta included. Doing okay. Get me working while listening. Awesome. Well, thank you for hanging out. See, one fat deck. The player deck is already like 100 plus on the beta. Yeah, for sure. Mordio, indeed. It could be. I was gonna say, I guess it could be Mordio, or is it Nova? I'm guessing it's Nova, but it's kind of cool that you have like a, you know, old 2-person channel, you know? No, Nova always. It happens. Oh yeah, I won't be 100% listening 100%. If someone needs my attention, feel free to ping me in Discord. Deal. Mordova. There you go. Toot scrunched it down. Just cut out the middle, you know. Anyway. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, it's a big old deck of cards. And like, you know, we still got to think about like, you know, how the game will actually be released and whatnot. But I think I'll be fully happy with the number of cards in the base game after this. So that is to say, if you do want a card in the base game, if you want to redeem a card, you have until these 15 cards are done for it to not end up in the beta forever. Not really, but I think the beta cards will end up being like an expansion at that point. Anything that's in the base game is going to be these quote unquote 15 cards. Because I went and looked. We have currently 21 total heroes, 12 lands, 14 spells, 20 structures, and 10 gods. That is in both the base game and the beta. And those are individual cards. Those aren't copies. Which basically says we need more spells and lands. I don't care for that number to necessarily be even at this point. It's like, whatever. It doesn't need to be a nice round number, per se. T-Bo's testing the summon. I have been summoned. But yeah, so I looked through it. Let me pull up another thing on tabletop here. Here, I've been reworking the player decks. I'm pretty happy. I'm definitely happy with Devotion and Magic. They're pretty good. Part of me is thinking of making a harvest specific land, which maybe sounds wild. Meow, 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 Grot spawned. There you go. Meow, 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 meow. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Discord stream chat. Yeah, y'all are cool. That's all I gotta say, you know. I heard Grot. Must say hi. Hi, Grot. Oi, Grot. Oi, Grot. Oi. But yeah, so I try to have like I'm thinking like each card, like each deck should have approximately like 2 of each type of card that are specific to them in general. That is just like a base rule, because some of these cards are like existing cards that I was like, okay, these kind of just fit the deck perfectly, and then they kind of just are good to that deck. all that said, I think we should have a Luna Dragon card. See, I'm telling you, you guys are always wanting me to draw animals. We could. Although that would be hero, and I will probably only make 2 more heroes for the base game. So all you need is 15,000 Bitcoin and it could happen. True. Very true. Cat dragon. I don't know if it'd be a dragon. I could definitely see like a cat beast, but a Luna Axolotl. Ooh, a Lunalotl. Imagine if your avatar was riding the Luna Dragon. There you go. Beast Rider. Hello, Lunar. Speaking of Lunar, hello. Are you rolling around? Hold on. Hello. Where are you going? Oh yeah. Rolls around, yeah. I must make a complete circle, says Kitten. She's close. She's close to making a complete circle. Where do you go? Are you a little circle cat? An excuse to draw the queen, indeed. Anyway, there's Luna. She wants attention. Anyway, so yeah, basically, the goal is 15 cards max. Most of it is going to be humanity deck, like for the humanity deck, which I think I want to center around like a deck where it's like based on placing cards, which sounds silly, but like it's like, of course you're gonna place cards. She walked away. Okay, of course you're gonna place cards, right? But I think the idea is like trigger on place kind of effects. I typed oh yeah, then got distracted by a notification, and now I don't know what I was going to send. Ah, I see. Was it, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and clean the bathroom because you said that in stream chat? Anyway. So yeah. So super simple stuff. That's gonna be really cool. Yeah, it's gonna be, oh wait, I remember. Oh yeah, my push-up experiment is going well. I can now do 3 push-ups, and then the 4th one gets a bit harder. I can do 5. Nice. Heck yeah. Yeah, honestly, it'll build up pretty fast, I feel like. I'm finally done with my morning meeting. How's it going? Doing good. I'm discussing a game plan because I was kind of getting a little bit like overwhelmed or maybe burnt out or whatever on creating these cards because I didn't feel like I had a direction. I felt like I was just kind of creating cards eternally. So the goal is to figure out exactly how many cards I need. And currently the max number that I will create is 15. I don't think that's necessarily 100% what we'll be doing, but because honestly, some of these cards that I make might be able to be shared, but it is a thing. Like, I don't know if Harvest needs a Harvest specific spell or a specific land, right? Like, that feels like silly, kind of, right? But yeah. Because like they're already just any land is good for Harvest, right? That's what I call progress, yeah, but indeed does feel pretty good for some reason. Maybe because I'm moving. Indeed. I can do 0 because I can't bend my arms at all. I don't get it. Oh no. Tuna, no. Me too, a week ago. Harvest do be loving lands. Indeed. Yeah, so it's like I could make a harvest specific land, like a field or something, right? That would be kind of cool. But do I really need to make that for harvest specifically? I don't know. You know. Anyway, the idea here is to go through this entire thing. Humanity's getting 2 lands, 2 structures, 2 spells, and 2 heroes. In theory, again, this doesn't necessarily need to be this, but that's the idea. Altruism's getting 1 more land and 1 more spell. Devotion's getting Destruction. Sorry, I was like Devotion. There's no way. Destruction's getting 1 more land and 1 more spell. Harvest is getting 1 more land and 1 more spell, and War is getting 1 spell. That is the current plan. This might change, but probably only to be less cards. And that is the current thought. Hey Beats, what is any god you want tested specifically? Like, I can play more war games if they're only the only changed one. War would be interesting. I think War is a lot more powerful just because they can proc their own ability. War is definitely probably the one that probably needs nerfing, if just by looking at it. So yeah, I mean, War's a good one. Any of the new gods as well, but again, those aren't as important because they're just kind of sitting in beta right now. Oh yeah, so I do gotta clean the bathroom now. Haha. Gotta be responsible. Indeed. I'm sniffly all of a sudden. Can't freaking wait for the game jam. Me too, dude. I'm kind of nervous about it because I still don't fully have the the theme in mind. Like, I have a bunch of ideas, but I haven't actually picked one, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. So yeah. Wait, I got an idea. A land that gives a ton of units on placement but has a negative unit gen. I'm not necessarily a fan of the idea, but just putting it out there. I think the biggest problem with that is having a big number of units on placement does potentially mean the biggest thing we have to avoid is a turn 1 win, because I think that's like, you don't want it to be like I can see something like that, but I don't know exactly what that would be. I can see something like that. There's a good an idea there for sure. I'll have to think that out for a minute. Sybil will probably not have anything to make a playable version on, so I'll just write out the concept of the rules. Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. Yeah, just do it. I mean, technically, well, I was gonna say you're mostly doing it on a phone, right? So that does make it difficult. I was gonna say you could do it on screen top, but if you don't have access to a computer, then that's gonna be almost impossible. I know you can technically use Dexterous on your phone, but I imagine the user experience on that is not fun because it is not mobile optimized. But yeah, I mean, if you write out the rules and stuff, that'd be cool. Dexterous on phone is horrible. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. In the basic form is probably not good for the game, but even if it doesn't lead to a turn 1 win, yeah. Something like that could be cool. honestly, it could just be a land that works like Harvest. Like basically Harvest's effect on a land where it's like when you play this card, you gain units equal to the number of lands you have in play. And then so if you have Harvest, it just kind of doubles up on that. You know? Like that would be kind of cool. Like a field that just gains, you know, a ton when you place the land. So it's kind of like, you know, kind of a cool idea. Also, Tuna, like, just for game jam stuff, I mean, it depends on what you do, but like, honestly, like I'm half expecting some people to maybe make some like RPG rules, like some tabletop RPG rules. And that technically you don't need any pieces for, right? If you do like theater of the mind kind of stuff. So you could always play into that. So it's like a game that you play mentally, or a simple game that's like you just need a dice or something, right? Obviously you're not gonna like win on art there necessarily unless you have like art in your rule book and stuff, but you could make a game where it's just like technically to set it up you just need dice, and so we can, you know, just roll dice on like Google when we do our play test, you know. So I think it shouldn't be, you know, too bad. Except for the game jam, but I have no idea how the hell I'm actually going to turn an idea into a playable game. Fair. I literally have so many ideas for the game jam. Hopefully my theme helps you, or is decent. Again, that's like the biggest thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about like I'm gonna make a theme and all y'all are gonna be like, what the hell? What was he thinking? That's not what I thought it would be like at all. This one's terrible. I don't know how to make anything out of this, you know. That's my worry. That could be good. A land that rewards you for setting up. Exactly. If we're allowed to do theater of the mind that needs barely anything to function, then I might make a successful entry. Yeah, I mean, again, like you probably, again, the scoring parameters are based on theme, right? Based on, I should just look it up because I'm gonna forget. Not rules, news. Let's scroll up. I gotta do like another announcement. So yeah, it's judged on fun, whether the game's fun, art and design, which you probably wouldn't make much points on for theater of the mind gameplay, right? Mechanics you'd be fine. Lore and story you'd probably be good on, and theme fit you can be good on. So like you probably lose out on art, but you know, some people might not even finish a game, so it's like we might be playing an unfinished game or not play at all, and you'll still probably get points because I'm not going to be a jerk. I feel like you guys are trying to do stuff, and you know, you'll place regardless if you've tried. Place somewhere, right? So I'm a very ambitious person, so keeping stuff simple is hard for me. Yeah, that's the biggest thing with a game jam, you know? Sort of label, I can get carried away and making it way too complicated, I feel ya. Tis the scope creep, right? That is the I just realized you can middle mouse to like quick zoom in. Interesting. Isn't there like a no, I don't know. Nope, I can blindfold myself. It's not required to be a proper board game. I could make a loose game with a few physical elements that make for art. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, like it doesn't have to be like, it has to be playable like on at least like, you know, like tabletop simulator or similar, right? But like I guess like again, if you made like Dungeons and Dragons, technically like, or like very simple Dungeons and Dragons, all you need is like a D20, right? If you're like being really simple about it. So like, you know, if as long as it can be played for free, you know, without or with Tabletop Simulator, then I'm going to be happy enough with it, right? I'm happy you guys are excited about it at all. You know, you make a card game is pretty simple. I mean, you could even make a card game out of existing, like out of a deck of cards, you know, if you really wanted to, right? like a traditional deck of cards. It can just be a board game, right? You don't have to make a deck of cards if you make a board game, you know, or like, you know. So that there's options, even if you have limited resources. You have stuff written out, it takes like 10 minutes to make some very, very basic cards and dexterous. That too, yeah. I mean, if you have a computer to do it, then yeah, dexterous has pre-existing templates you can use, you know. So my first D&D game was ran with 2 pieces of paper for a character sheet and a notepad, a jacket to cover my side, and like 6 dice on 2 desks brought together. There you go. That's great. I think my first like role-playing game was literally just a D20, and that was it. Like technical role-playing game experience, whereas just you rolled the dice and the GM was like, this happens, and you're like, what if I blow up the world? They're like, okay, you blow up the world, now you're in heaven. You're like, okay, cool, now what? It was very chaotic and silly, but technically like a role-playing game. That's actually such a good point, but I think I'll just make the most basic pixel art and call it a day. Yeah, I mean, that works too, you know? So yeah, anything is possible. You guys can go as simple or as complex as you want, but if you make a game in 2 weeks, then consider it a win, you know? If you try to make a game, you know, even. Recommend Pixel Studio for mobile. Nice. I'll have to check that out, because that'd be nice to have one of those. Anyway, so that's my game plan for this, is to this number of cards. You can see the totals and kind of bring it somewhat closer. And then kind of based on like what cards sort of, or what decks need cards. I filled out a few here. I had a bunch of spells written down that I think kind of work. So we'll probably do those. And then I had a few lands, like we talked about the mines or caves for altruism, and then a bog for destruction, something similar to the swamp, but maybe for this one said wasteland or ruins. Maybe it could be monsters. Maybe it could be, you know, something else that gives you higher units, but it's a less likely thing for you to destroy. So, something along those lines, you know. So yeah, I thought that could be kind of fun. I know AR can have its uses in case like these were, I can just keep working on it and for years, and sorry, I can't read. This is just the idea across, but AI art gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, it's a lot for sure. It's good like temp art. I mean, like it's not like you're not showing, you know, human creativity by doing it, but it can be good to give you ideas, or just be like temporary, whatever, you know. It's a brainstorming tool. I've been using pixel art, so I'll check it out. It might turn out better. Nice. toughest thing for me will probably be deciding what to make from all the ideas I have. Nice. Also keeping it small. Yeah. To be honest, I'd rather have a blank page than AI art. Yeah. Wait, do lands that say disabled when drawn still, that don't say disabled when drawn, still draw minions when played? Correct. Like the minion ones still draw land. Yeah. Yeah, the wastelands. If you want to make it reconcile, just make the background a different color. Yeah. I figured I'd just give it an option if, like, you know, people want to have some sort of theme or story to it. Obviously, yeah, you could just leave it blank, but I mean, being able to like recognize a card from its looks is huge. But yeah, I mean, you can do simple stuff, right? I mean, it's 2 weeks. As long as you keep your scope down and don't have like 20 billion cards, you know, you can make something cool. Even if it's just simple art. You also can download assets, right? Like that's something I will allow if you want to go, like, there's plenty of like art packs online that you can like I don't know, let's see, free pixel art game assets. You go to itch.io and you go here and you can download any of these for your game and you can use them. You know, like these are all free. Well, maybe they're not free. This one says 40% off, so I'd assume you can buy it. Okay, well, it's a name your own price, so like whatever. But yeah, some of these are free. Why did they say 50% off if it's... Okay, not all of them are free, but there are free ones. Either way, there's easy ways to get art that you can put in there. Definitely give credit if you take some people's stuff, but itch.io. Yeah, I've heard both, but I don't know. I hear people both say itch.io and itch.io. I prefer itch.io for some reason, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, for sure. I want to make cards distinguishable from each other without needing to zoom in or out to read. Yeah, I prefer to make stick figures than using AI art, to be honest. Like anything you can make is better than AI. Yeah, for sure. I'm fine with it, like 10, 20 cards to start. Yeah. Just have colored backgrounds. True. Yeah, I mean, it's an option, right? I wouldn't necessarily say like, I mean, you know, you're not going to get an art score if you use, you know, AI temporary art, but you know, even if like you make your own like borders or backgrounds and then have can see the URL. Oh, it's here. I got you here. Let me share it. This was just the first thing I typed in when I typed in free pixel art, but yeah, there's, you know, you can take a look at all that stuff. It doesn't have to be pixel art either, right? Like I'm sure there's other art assets that are free that you can use. Of course, my dude. Like, yeah, if you have like 80 cards, then using AI might be okay, you know? like especially if you need to distinguish between all those cards, right? Granted, if you have the time, if you have the whole week off, you probably could do it. Basically how I did all the art for armies, because it's like what, 50, 80, it's probably that many cards. But if you don't have that kind of time, I think AI is fine. But again, you know, it is what it is. It's temporary art. Like if you were to sell the game or continue working on the game, you would replace the AI art. And that's kind of like what, you know, Anonymous did. Like he obviously is very fast at drawing his own art, but he also used AI to just have a temporary idea for what he wanted, you know? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Obviously other people's opinions may vary depending on how they feel about it, but you know, here we are. My game is going to have an evolution mechanic probably, so it's really important to have some sort of visual improvement as well between evolution stages, for sure. Nice. Too bad the theme's de-evolution. I'm just kidding. It's not. I guess that really wouldn't change anything because it would just be evolution but backwards. Just make a really specific theme that just like counteracts all the ideas you guys have. It specifically doesn't allow spaceships. And also it can't have evolution. And also you have to do it on a computer. That's the theme. Anyway, sorry. The kitten was nearby and I had to try to grab her. Anyway, we've kind of just yapped. I don't know what we want to do today. We could keep working on cards. We could draw some lands or something, or spells. I've got a bunch of spells. We got suggestion / hypnotic melody. Allows you to choose the target of the monsters and minions this turn. That maybe should just be like a specific, well, I don't know. Might be too powerful, but you know, here we are. Counteroffensive, give you units equal to the number of minions on the board. You may place these units wherever you like. Mines / let's see, dispel nullifies a curse. Growth, but with triggered effects. Don't know what it would be called, but just basically trigger all your triggered effects. And a spell that triggers positive defeated effect instantly, which is probably very powerful, but of course all spells can have weaknesses as well, so just drawing random stuff. There's a chance that I might use in the game jam depending on the theme. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. Like I'm not totally sure if the word, like the theme itself is going to be kind of more mechanical or thematic in nature. I'm trying to like come up with words that are kind of in between, but your solution of not grading AR was genius, I think. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's fair to use. Like people, it's a tool, right? But it's not art. You know, it's not like, you know, it's not fair. Like, it's not fair to be like, oh yeah, this AI art looks better than this stick figure, like, because there was no effort put into it, right? So yeah, I think it's perfectly fair. Anyhow, what do we want to do? Should we just do some drawing? Should we draw some of these existing suggestions, or do you guys want to brainstorm mechanics of what we could do for like God of Humanity, or I guess Harvest and War? Harvest needs a land and War needs a spell. I don't know if mines are worth making it since the mechanic isn't fully fleshed out. I mean, the thing is, we can make the mines and then just, if it doesn't work, we change the ability. It can still be a mines. Like, the art is going to be usable whenever, right? Like, we can reuse the art for something else. Just start drawing cute little animal guys for for if Beats makes the theme that doesn't allow spaceships. I won't make a theme that doesn't allow spaceships, I promise you that. The theme won't be like, you know, it's not gonna be like, you know, I don't think it's gonna influence like how you can make your game look, right? I guess I don't know. Like, I think you can find a way to make a game spaceship, even if it's like even if the theme was something like nature or something, right? Like, which I don't think I would pick that theme, but like, even if it was, like, you could still make like a nature versus like, you know, technology theme, and then you can have like, you know, spaceships, or you could have spaceships with plants growing on them or something, right? Like, you could still make a sci-fi space theme with a prompt that isn't specifically catered toward like the theme of spaceships, right? I like some brainstorming. Okay, we can do that. The thing is, I want the vibe and mechanics to fit together. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'll do what I can. I'm still not sure what my the theme's going to be. So I've got a few ideas, but I haven't fully committed to something yet. Anyway. Especially because I'm not like entirely certain like how mechanical the theme is, or how, you know, narrative based the theme's going to be. I will tell you this is the one hint I will give you. It will probably just be a single word. There's like a 90% chance it'll be a single word. I can't guarantee that, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be. If something strikes me like the day before, I'm like, actually that's like a phrase that would be good, but it's probably just going to be a single word. It's also interesting to incorporate the theme into the mechanics, like if it was nature, something like ecosystem, TCG or something. Yeah, that's true. I agree. Like spore. I just got some incredible ideas. Oh my lord. There you go. Okay. Sure. Let's talk about I mean, I feel like doing a harvest land, if we do something like that, I think it would be cool to do, like I said, like a field, right? Like a wheat field kind of thing. And honestly, I think it would be cool to do something, like, honestly, as we were brainstorming there, just like when placed, gain units equal to the number of your lands. So it's a little like weaker version of it. It's only your lands and not you and your allies' lands, but and then honestly, it could just be worthless after that. Maybe one passive unit gen, but maybe not, you know? Well, probably could. Passive unit gen of 1. Because it gives you a boon right away, and then it's just kind of like normal after that. We do need a spell for war. Honestly, it could be cool just to have a spell that makes like a card attack again. Or makes a card that can't normally attack. I think that could be kind of cool. I have been thinking about that, like making a card that like that doesn't have an attack. I don't know like how useful that would be, but like if you have a ton of units on like your, I don't know, your gladiator arena or something, right? You're like, oh wait, or maybe even actually probably Waste Haven would be a better example. You have a ton of units on your Waste Haven because all your heroes just died. Be like, oh, I'm gonna play this card and it makes my Waste Haven attack. I think that would be kind of a cool card. Allow any card, even if it has no attack icon, to make an attack. Boopity boop, boop doop. There we go. That's interesting. Have any card attack once. Exactly. Yeah. And honestly, it probably doesn't even need a detriment, but we could add one just for the giggles of it, but I don't know. Could be interesting. There's already a cost like inherently to an attack, you know? So could be interesting. Okay, this is the part that's going to require more brainstorming. So now we kind of have, we can theme some of these, right? Like if someone wants to like theme one of these spells with a one of their redemptions, they can. Again, any of these that like someone redeems will go into the base game. The rest will probably be put into the beta unless I can find a better spot to like, you know, it's like, oh, well, the Osgathian warrior doesn't, I mean, the Osgathian warrior fits pretty well in here. Maybe like, you know, the berserker doesn't fit quite well in the destruction deck. So maybe we can swap that out. We could potentially do that if someone has ideas, but we're getting close to the point where it's like most of that stuff's probably going to go into the beta and kind of stay there. Obviously, like if you redeem the card, I will give you the card. But yeah. Like send it to you on Discord. But you know, here we are. Okay, here's the interesting part. I think, yeah, cards based around placing other cards. I kind of threw two spells in here that could work, but I think, I mean, we could have. Actually, you know what? That makes me think if we're having cards based on placing cards, cognitive enhancement would work here. Probably better than teleport. I kind of just had teleport in there, so that would probably work better. I just realized I'm 8k points out. Nice. Crazy. One of the cards I'm probably going to put in there, unless y'all, you know, create a hero before then, is Beats. We can have me as a... I kind of like how this is like big text, but then small text underneath it. So I'm just going to copy that formatting. We can do Beats. Don't know what he does, but that could be one of the cards. We do have to reuse. We can reuse my art rather. But yeah, we need two structures and two lands. And then two heroes. Like we need the abilities. Oops. I just want this to be the right format. Yeah, I just want to fill this out so we know what we're doing, you know? Spell that lets you swap one card you have with an allies card. That could be cool. It doesn't count as placing though, swapping, unfortunately. So I don't think that would really synergize with humanity. But I do like the idea. Like these two cards, I could be persuaded to change one of them, you know? I also think that would be kind of cool with this god. Like a beta god deck, you know? Because this one allows you to swap cards from your own hand. So swapping cards from your ally hand would also be kind of cool. Yeah, actually this card would be really good with the shapeshifter. Which I don't know why that's still goofed up, but because you could like play the shapeshifter whenever you because you can play put cards back into your hand, right? And then shapeshifter basically just lets you play any of the cards you have. It sounds kind of cool, but I do like that idea, Tuna. I'm trying to decide if I like that better than some of these other ones. It could be better than Dispel, potentially. Because, like, nullifying a curse is interesting, right? Like, just being able to, like, not have to deal with a curse. Which is, it's basically, like, you know, any of these, like, Banish or Demolish or what's the third one? Scorched Earth. Any of those are similar, right? It would just be a curse version of that. If that gives me these vibes, it looks like an absolute slime ball. I love him. Huh. I don't know what vibes it gives me. I don't know. It kind of just makes me think of Avatar for some reason, like the snow tribes. I don't know. Which is kind of what I was going for, so maybe that's why, but any hoodles. My true thoughts keep telling me to make a deception game for the game jam. I want to so bad, but it would be more or less impossible to play test. Yeah, that is true. I mean, it depends on how you do it. Like Blight of Blackridge, I mean, technically I did it with one other person a few times, but I still turned out a decent game, even though I only play tested like 4 times. But oh, just so you guys are aware, Wednesday might be a later stream again. I'm not entirely certain. Or maybe I'll stream twice. I'm not entirely, I'm not sure yet, but I plan on doing a Blight of Blackridge playtest late in the day with some friends. So, assuming I can get that all figured out. So it might end up being later because us Americans, you know, usually if people have jobs, you know, they can't play test until later. So we'll see though. Bathroom clean, heck yeah. We're about to hit an ad in 24 seconds. So perfect timing. But yeah, we'll probably take that ad break and then we'll talk more about cards that could work for humanity. I kind of like that idea, Tuna. I'm just trying to think if I swap it with something else, or what that would work best for, you know. I think it does work with Nivek or whatever, how the heck, Nivek, whatever you say the name that I made up, or one of us made up. Anyway, we're in an ad. I'll be back. See you in 3 minutes.
Randomness. It's what makes card games so interesting to play. The simple act of shuffling and drawing cards creates unpredictable outcomes, providing a unique and exciting experience every time. But what happens when this randomness becomes a detriment to the game? And how do you deal with that? Being able to address this issue can often mean the difference between a good card game and a bad one. Even the most popular games aren't immune to these pitfalls. Take Magic the Gathering, for example, one of the most popular trading card games of all time. It's not uncommon to find yourself drawing nothing but lands, or conversely, having no lands at all, leaving you with a unplayable hand. On the flip side, randomness can swing in the opposite direction too, drawing an incredible hand, leading you to completely dominate your opponents. While it's certainly fun for the player with the winning hand, it can be less enjoyable for everyone else at the table. So let me tell you how I counteracted it while working on my own game, and the battle I fought against inconsistency. In my game, players compete against the Old God, a collection of cards that present various challenges. Unfortunately, the balance of this deck was wildly unpredictable, often either leading to completely overwhelming the players, or failing to be a challenge at all, making the game unenjoyable either way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For those of you who aren't familiar with my game, which, let's be honest, is probably most of you, you might be wondering what the heck an Old God is and what the game is actually as a whole. Or maybe you don't care. I don't know your life. I'm going to talk about it anyway. So, in brief summary, here's how the game works. Armies Against Entropy is a cooperative resource management trading card game. Players place cards like heroes, structures, and lands to create synergies for themselves and also their allies. They then move units generated by their cards to enhance the power of the cards that they deem most necessary, all while battling the Old God, a deck of automated cards designed to dismantle the player's forces and serve as the main threat of the game. Now that you kind of have an understanding of the game, let's dive into how randomness became a problem. As I said before, the Old God deck was designed to present various challenges. This deck featured a large number of weaker cards and a few stronger ones. In theory, this meant the players would face a constant onslaught of minor threats, while occasionally encountering some much more intimidating ones. Let's talk a little more specifically though. Typically, the Old God would draw around 3 cards per turn with a total deck of 86 cards, 10 endlings in the deck as the weakest card. This design meant you were much less likely to draw something threatening like 3 Ravengers. The idea is that the Old God would have a nice assortment of cards due to its distribution. At least that's what I thought. However, there were many instances where this wasn't the case, and the Old God either felt pitiful or, conversely, an unstoppable onslaught of destruction. Speaking of unstoppable onslaughts of destruction, you should subscribe. I don't know how those two things correlate, but So what was the solution? Well, this came to me while I was trying to fix an entirely different problem, and that problem was the Abyssal Horde card. This card was a hell of my own making, and the bane of my existence for so many different reasons. But the main one that we'll be focusing on today was trying to solve an issue where it would gain in power every attack. Units were how the player gained power, but we didn't really want a similar mechanic for the Old God because we didn't really want to figure out how these units would be allocated each turn. The Abyssal Horde...
I have returned. Thoughts on super simple, pushing my brain to the limits. Heck yeah. Thought on super simple cards like hero that destroys a minion when placed. I like that idea. Let's actually go over here. You're thinking along the right ideas. Hero that destroys minion when placed. Which kind of, it's getting my brain flowing. Also, what about a structure that keeps from being built, like goes back into the hand every other turn, played again, or statue or something interesting. I was having an idea where it's like a card that lets you return cards to your hand. Right, because that could be cool, because then you could play cards again. Right? I feel like that would be interesting. I'm trying to think how that would work though. It would definitely be a structure with an ability, right? Beats, how do you draw fire? For some reason, I can't do it. It depends on how close to the fire you are, is what I have found. I think, unfortunately, a lot of time drawing fire is like drawing hair. Came back for real. Had to empty the dishwasher. People doing all the chores. You could do that grid system and have a statue that gives units to everything around it on placement. That could be interesting. I'll think about that for a second. I can't draw hair either. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I know you say you don't like drawing hair, so I feel like fire is kind of similar to hair. Let's help you out for half a second though. Let's take a look. All right. I remember, Grot. I remember the things you say for the most part. I mean, let's look at some of the fire cards, right? I mean, is it close up fire, far away fire? What are we talking about here? Because like close up, okay, which is more detailed, right? Like, I don't necessarily know how I feel about like it's spiraling around. I feel like that looks maybe not quite like real fire, but her hair is pretty good, right? Kind of dynamic. I think a lot of the time fire is drawn back. Did I miss anything? We're just talking about card designs. I don't know when you left, so but I'm helping Grot for a second about drawing fire. Let me grab my art pad. I am making up this advice as I go, so keep that in mind. I think one of the biggest things is to not make your shapes. Don't make your shapes, like, you want to make them different sizes, right? Like, you don't want them all to be, like, you don't want, you know, a bunch of sort of same size shapes. I think doing like, you know, trying to vary the sizes probably helps. One of the things, honestly, I like to do with fire is, rather than draw it additively, you know, draw a bunch of lines and whatever, is draw it more subtractively. Like, you can kind of get your general shape. Yeah, I knew that was coming. It had to. So you just kind of draw your general shape, and then a lot of time just like using the erase tool is kind of nicer for making your fire, right? Because you can kind of get like sharper edges that way. At least I find. This is not like a great example of that, but a lot of time just erasing kind of makes some nicer shapes. Obviously you can't just erase, but sometimes you can get cooler, like sharper edges with the erase tool a lot of the time. don't know. This is nothing, but I think maybe you understand what I mean. Also like little embers too, you know. Bald. Although I really need, again, I need to shave my hair. Although I'm thinking of growing my beard a little bit, just for the fun of it. I'll join you. Well, not with this one. I'm not bald, true. It could be. I don't know. Yeah, erasing I find helps. You know, creating different varying widths and stuff also helps. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm qualified to give good advice on fire. Hello, Lunesta. Let's do some push-ups while I think about what more advice I can give. I do. No. Okay, I gotta do push-ups. Okay. I did 6. Hell yeah, dude. Hope I'm not getting sick. My throat's kind of whatever, and my whole family's been sick. So, yeah, Gra, I'm not entirely sure what advice to give. I do find erasing does help because you can kind of get the point on the inside, you know. I don't know why it's being weird now, which is kind of nice. Why is it being weird? Which kind of helps, but that's kind of more of a cheat than a like real advice. But yeah, something like that. I don't know, Grot. That's all I can say. Try to make like just varying thicknesses of things. I don't know. I guess in the way, like kind of thinking of it in layers, right? You know, you draw, you know, your mid ground in like medium sized shapes, your foreground in smaller shapes, and then your background in smaller shapes, and your, you know, whatever, and maybe even bigger shapes. Probably should use S curves too. A lot of this I'm not doing like an S curve because a lot of time S curves look nice, right? Rather than just sort of spikes. Throw some S's in there. I'm not doing the colors necessarily as like what the colors should be here. I'm kind of just using them to separate the sort of layers here, but not a weird color. I'm kind of just drawing, if I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really know what advice I can give. Maybe something in there is helpful. I don't know. Shrug. I don't know. Here we are. Can't type on Twitch for some reason, but expand my idea. What if statue had ability for 4 units to be returned? Ability for 4 units to so it could return to hand. On placement, it gives units to other cards. Ooh, okay, hold on. I'm liking that. So like its ability is like when another card is placed, grant it, I don't know, 2 units. And then like an ability where it's like when, or I guess this is an ability, move 1 card back to your hand. Return. Something like that, potentially. I don't know what the cost of the ability would be. I think it's all about sorry, my voice died there. All about like when placing, you get something for placing the card, right? So if it's a unit cost, it's probably not worth it, right? That's my worry. So it almost has to be the cost of something else. I think it does exactly that, but only for itself. Its own placement adds units to other cards. But I like your version too. I think my version, like the idea is like you need to enhance like playing cards. So like when you play cards, it's good. Like it. Yeah, I think my version kind of synergizes with more stuff, right? Because like when you play a card, it grants the card units. So maybe if it's low on units, returning it to your hand and then playing it again is good. We just need some sort of benefit for returning cards to your hand, because if you return a card to your hand, like playing cards, playing economy is big. Like it might almost mean we need to add like another thing to humanity where it's like if a card is returned to your hand, you can play another card. But that might be absolutely overpowered with something like Necromancy Altar, right? I'm thinking humanity might need something more, like in the space effect. To kind of go along with that, though, you know? Wait, how do I miss Tebow's stuff? I did stop with push-ups while they made my tummy hurt. Sore tummy and stomach. What do you miss? I just missed you saying stuff. Wait, I meant sit-ups. Ah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Send my fire in Discord. I sent you my fire. Please respond. looks pretty good. Yeah. I mean, it's stylized for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it looks cool. One thing you could do if you really like the line work looks cool. If you want to make it look more fiery, you could use like the smudge tool if you really want to. I don't know if what art program you're using, but you could, you know, smudge the line art. Kind of gives it that heat distortion look, you know. That's how I did the fire for what's it called? Flight of Black Ridge, is I kind of drew lines and I distorted the lines, but I don't think that's necessary. I think it's kind of a cool style. Kind of like it. It's good at I think the sending stuff to the hand mechanic has a lot of potential, but there's a lot to think about. Yeah. Well, it kind of has to, right? Because if like the goal is playing cards, it has to have some sort of mechanic to play more cards, but it feels bad if you don't get to play those cards again, right? Because that is kind of the thing. It does push it away from like tutorial god feel a bit, but that's probably okay. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah. So that's what I did like with the let me pull this up. Blood to Black Ridge. Art with like this. That's exactly how I made these little fires on the side here, is those were just like lines that I smeared. In fact, I almost drew them exactly like this. There's less like sort of swirly sort of shapes, but I basically drew this and I smudged it outward. That's kind of how I did these. So, and it kind of made it wispy, you know? So depends on what you're going for, though, of course. Like, there's very stylized fire if you want to go that way, you know? Like those sort of like anime, not even anime, like old. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is like Wind Waker's like explosions. That's an like example, or like Okami, is that what it's called? Like fire in that game, which is based on like old Japanese art, right? Yeah, I think it looks great, Grot. Use Liquify, forgot my brush size to the max, and the program just froze. My PC fans started going crazy. Yeah, that'll happen for sure. Hopefully you saved. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to where we were. Yeah, looking good, Grot. Classic. Toot just never wants me to not be bald. Toot hates hats. Even though he has a redeem on his channel to switch hats. Because he owns many a hat. Yeah, I kind of like the swapping cards. Yo, Anonymous, what's up, dude? We are talking about the humanity deck. And trying, oops, I did not mean to, I can just close this. I'm trying to make a few cards for it to have its own sort of synergies, which may require it to have some additional abilities. I'm not entirely certain, but because like it's basic, or it's a fact, right? Is when you place a card, you gain an additional unit. I'm thinking like kind of going along that line where you're it's all about placing cards, you know? So like the more you can place cards, the better it is, right? Obviously being able to place more cards is extremely powerful, probably one of the most powerful effects in the game. The big problem with that is that like we can't really give humanity like the ability to place more cards. I think that's going to be too overpowered. So we were talking about like a mechanic where you can return cards to the hand, like ability to return one card back to your hand, and then you can play the card again to get whatever benefits that you might get from, you know, a combination of synergies or something like that, right? Between your cards and things like that. But I am unsure exactly what that looks like. Potentially could be something where we allow humanity to play additional, like play a card. If a card is returned to your hand, then you can play another card, but that also seems kind of powerful. And also like, especially if you have something like Necromancy Altar, like if you return, if all heroes are just being returned to your hand as you die, being able to play them again for free is kind of a lot. But I would like, yeah, the ability to play more cards at some sort of, not necessarily cost, but some sort of requirement. Because like returning the Osgathian Warrior to your hand is pretty cool, right? Because it plays five units when, or it starts with 5 units when played. With the God of Humanity, it's 6 units technically, right? So like maybe you play it, it gets hit for like 5 damage, it's only got like 1 health left. Returning it to your hand could be beneficial because when you play it, you get 5 more units. However, the act of playing a card is usually more powerful. Like in the power graph of like actions you can do, playing a card is probably like the highest top tier one, right? Like gaining 1 unit is at the very bottom, and placing a card is at the very top, you know? Drawing a card is somewhere in the middle. You know what I'm saying? There's a power graph somewhere along there. But yeah, that's kind of what we're discussing. But if you can play an additional card only if you don't have cards of that type in play. Maybe? I think cards themselves should have an ability to return themselves into your hand, because if the god enables it, suddenly there's 100 new interactions to think about. I don't think that's really a problem, like returning your card to your hand. I mean, yeah, it's like a whole kind of new mechanic to base stuff around, but I don't think that's so much a problem. So you can revive Warrior, but if you have other heroes, you can play it again this turn. Oh, card type, not card name, right? I feel like that feels kind of niche, like limited, right? Like it's only good if you're like, well, I guess it means you can play heroes a lot. Okay. I'm warming up to it. Let me think about it for a minute. I was suggesting that a statue ability have unit requirement for returning itself to the hand, so you can keep replaying it over and over again, no unit cost. It would need some investment to be replayed. Yeah, so you're saying like a statue card or whatever you might want to call it. You play the card, it gives units to everything, you know, around it or on the board or whatever, and then it can return itself to the hand, and then you can play it again. And then that gives a bunch of things. But I think it would be cool to be able to do that with like any card that's on placement, right? Especially because the God of Humanity kind of enables that, right? But I also don't want a card that's so pivotal to your deck that you have to have it played, you know? So I guess that kind of like to your point, like if, again, we'll just, yes, the statue card or whatever it might be. If that's like the only thing that can return cards to your hand, that is kind of crazy, right? And like returning cards to your hand, how useful is that in a in like other decks, you know? Because that's something to consider too, because when we're making these cards, how much what's the reusability in other decks is also a thing to consider. Because like I don't want cards that are just like only specifically good in a specific deck, you know? I don't mind it, but I don't think it should be like, I think it should be considered when you're making a card. It's okay if it's only useful in some decks, but if it's useless in every other deck, it's kind of like merp. Let me think on Adonis's idea here for a second as well. It would basically only be useful for heroes. Like, if there is no heroes in your deck, you may play a card. Well, that could work infinitely in theory. But I guess it's only if a card is returned to your hand. Because it doesn't really work with structures unless if lands can return, like we make a specific land that can return cards to your hand. But like, how useful is that in any other deck, you know? That's kind of my worry. So I guess Tuna's idea of like a card that can return itself might be more beneficial. But then like I feel like we might just make 3 cards that can return themselves to your hand, you know? Also, like if we make like the harvest card that can return itself, like then that gets kind of crazy. Or like there was a field card idea, because then you could just keep playing that over and over and over and over and over again. I don't know if the returning the cards to the hand really works. I guess kind of what Tuna was saying is like there's a lot of interactions to think about, right? If you can return any card to your hand. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could create something like the Necromancy Altar that's for like lands and structures as well, potentially. Although I feel like that's kind of a weird spot for this to be in, because I mean, yeah, structures can get destroyed before your heroes, but lands typically won't unless you get attacked by a Blight Mite, and there's not many Blight Mites in the game. Unless we make more of those, which we probably will make more cards that attack lands, but we could make a land that potentially could return structures to your deck. But that's kind of crazy, you know? Because we could just like throw Necromancy Altar in here, create some stuff that returns stuff to your hand. Honestly, Necromancy Altar is pretty good on this deck, but wasn't listening because I'm playing the game. Nice. I heard Blight Mite and instantly got triggered. We're do not underestimate the friend-shaped terror, indeed. Well, I was thinking more Old God things that attack lands at some point. When we take a look at the Old God deck, because once these are done, we're gonna have to take a look at the Old God as well. But you know, here we are. Yeah, we're just theory crafting God of Humanity deck, and what that might mean. I like the idea centered around placing cards to like trigger your effect more, but placing more cards obviously means very powerful, right? But that also is too powerful. we can't really make we can't make it place more cards on its own, right? I think like we already have 2 cards in their deck here that I put that allows you to place more cards. I don't think God of Humanity could additionally do that. I do like the idea of like returning cards to your hand and then somehow playing them again, but I'd have to figure out how that works. I mean, technically Embassy of the Grand Accord will need some sort of ability to, I think it needs to be easier to play a card, but I don't know what that is yet. I had a cool idea for game jam. Idea for a game jam for the. I had this cool idea for a game jam. I don't know how much I should talk about it too, but I'm too impatient. I mean, you can talk about stuff. It's fine. Is it possible that I go with it depending on what the theme is? There you go. I mean, if you want to talk about game jam ideas, it's fine. I mean, I'm going to basically be encouraging you guys to share your progress on the game, you know? Like, you know? So basically my idea was all the players like control a city and fight to control it, and as the players fight in the city with their troops and have to add districts on the city. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like a sort of city control game. It's kind of cool. What if something like a returning card to your hand, all card types of the same type gain a unit or something? I like that idea, but like then you have to have like a bunch. So here's the thing. Either we have to put that ability on God of Humanity, but then you can't trigger that ability yourself, which makes it weird, right? Then you have to like start returning cards to your hand, and then this starts feeling a lot less like a tutorial god, you know? That could be a whole other deck where it's just based on returning cards and playing cards. Sorry, I'm thinking this through for a second. I like where you're at. We could have cards that specifically do that, right, in your deck. But like, how reliant on your cards should you be for your God's effect? I guess it's not that bad because your God's effect triggers regardless, right? But I don't want to like force returning cards into your hand. I don't know if I want to put that effect on the god, you know? I'm gonna think about that for half a second. They basically build the battlefield as they fight in it, basically. Ooh, yeah, that's a cool idea. I like that. I'm gonna steal everyone's ideas. Mwahaha. Gonna make a Franken game. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know there's like people might feel that way, but yeah, I did make like the idea, and this is, I kind of stole this from the other thing. There's gonna be like a game jam, what's it called, forum, where you should put your idea and then start, you know, I gotta build this before I can fully share it, but you should put your idea in there and then share your ideas, and it's gonna be fun, you know. Gonna have to mute you for a bit. I had a cool idea for music. Nice. We love Tebow when he's in the zone. We love Tebow anyway, but we love a when Tebow just starts posting music and the Tebow music thing. You know what I mean? Anyway, man, yeah, I can't quite think of a way to make this work in a way that I want to, because I think Tuna might be right with just letting the card return itself without without changing the god like fundamentally. Or like having like weird tracking. We could have a card that returns itself to its deck, but allows you to bring a card with it. But I don't know. What if you can pay units from the god to put a card back into your hand instead of it dying? Again, that's changing the god fundamentally, you know? I like this idea. Like, I like the idea of like a return god card, returning whatever. But I'm wondering if, because like, then it almost feels like why not just have altruism? But I guess maybe not quite. I mean, I guess we could just make a bunch of cards based on returning to your hand or being played, but I'm wondering if that's too many different like synergies to like consider. I'm really trying to think this one through. Sorry, I appreciate all the ideas. I'm just trying to like cobble it together in a way that I think will work, you know? Because yeah, right now, God of Humanity does you know, +1 units when placed, which is just a strong base effect, right? So the goal, I guess, is to trigger this. I spelled trigger wrong. Trigger this ability more often, which means placing cards. But the problem with that is that placing cards is too powerful. But I guess we already have farm and embassy, which both work. I don't think embassy can be a unit cost, which we need to rework embassy anyway. Embassy needs to change effect cost, which I think maybe just disables a card or two. Disable a card or two, question mark. I'm trying to figure like the whole thing here. I mean, we could just have a bunch of simple cards that's just like when you place a card, it does X, right? And then just maybe have 1 or 2 cards that like help return cards to your hand. We kind of already have like, so like, I guess to your point, Anonymous, we kind of have Necromancy Altar, which returns a card before dying, and it has a unit effect. So the only way it works is that you have to have a front line in order for it to work. We could make a similar land, like a Necromancy land that returns structures when they're defeated, you know, something similar to a Necromancy Altar, but for structures that is land. Does that make sense? We could do that. That would kind of work with this sort of idea. Necromancer altar like land, question mark, question mark, question mark. For structures. Cause I like where you're at. I guess honestly, there could just be a few cards that work. I think probably the throwing cards back into your own hand and then playing them doesn't quite work for this, but maybe it does. I'm gonna despawn for a bit. It might be back later. All right, Grot. I like the wordage there. Thank you for being here. Sorry we're not making much progress. I know it's probably not the most fun to listen to me just reeling here. If we do put Necromancy Altar though in this deck, which again kind of works well for this, but it also works well for destruction, right? Like it's kind of the opposite, right? When destruction, you lose a card, you get the card back, and then you can play this again. It's kind of works the same, but in reverse. So it's maybe this synergy is too samey with God of Destruction deck. But I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking everything. I don't know. Because I do like the idea of like returning to your hand, but I just think we're gonna get some weird stuff. I mean, I guess we can make it so God of Humanity. I guess this is what someone was saying it. Anonymous, I think. When a card is returned to your hand, this god gains 1 unit or something. And then you can make a bunch of cards that play around that. But I almost feel like that is... no, because that doesn't make sense. Because, like, then the god be able to control how many cards you have by returning them, etc. Or what if you had cards that did different things depending on how many cards you have in your hand? And the god... then have the god be able to control how many cards you have by returning them, etc. Interesting. Actually, yeah, this doesn't work actually. Let me see what you said again. Let me think this through. Different cards that did different things depending on how many cards you have in your hand. It sound like another effect type is my only worry with this. My worry with that is that becomes a card draw deck rather than a card placement deck, unless we want to, like, again, I'm doing my best to not completely rework this god. Maybe we could give her a base effect, but totally unrelated. But does Windmill trigger with Tundra and similar lands, or only lands like Plains that have blue icon? In theory, Windmill is every type of land, or like the effects as well. What does it say? When the land beneath card gains units, your allies also gain those units with as well. Yeah, so it should be any. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. How does that work with Tundra? Well, yeah, it gains on the god. Ooh, yeah. So that's a lot, huh? I assume so, but Village was also slightly differently worded. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. I'm probably gonna be... I don't know if Windmill was on the rework or not. I think it was fine. I don't think it was on the rework list, but... yeah, Village says unit and unit gaining effects, whereas Windmill does not. So that might be something I need to look at. Good call. Let's just pull it up on here. Windmill isn't on the list, but okay, it's on the list. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the 5 units for a structure isn't that heavy, though a small nerf might be in order or something. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I think it's okay for now. It does require some setup to get going, you know, so I don't hate it. And it's your ally, so it always feels like different if you're playing with someone than if you're playing on your own. So I don't know. Okay. Yeah, man, I'm kind of stumped on this. I like all the ideas we're getting, but I feel like it doesn't quite it's not quite fitting. What if the cards had different things depending on how many cards you have? Yeah, I feel like that's just like another god completely, you know? I like the idea, Anonymous. It's just like we could add a base effect. Base effect would have to be something passive. Like it, but also making cards that have different effects based on the number of cards you have in them, then all of a sudden makes you like the mage deck, but without the spell aspect, I guess, right? It makes you want to be card draw, not card placement. Unless if like unless you have a thing like a base effect where it's like, if you have no cards in your hand, you gain some sort of effect. That I could potentially see. Yo, Yui, hello. How you doing today? Welcome on in. We're doing some brainstorming on cards. I think it's not getting anywhere, unfortunately. Everyone's giving good ideas, but it's just not quite working out how I want to. So we maybe might switch to drawing in a minute, but we'll see. Hello, kitten. Hi, you. Hi, you. Yeah, hello. Are you looking at a bird? Oh, birds. Stare at birds. Intensely staring birds. Anyway. Hello, hee hee hee. Indeed, hee hee hee. Yeah, because like when card is placed, I mean, I guess we already have these two cards, right? Which are placing more cards. We could just have like a structure that replaces cards. Like that could be a thing. Never really made cards before. I don't know if I'd be a great help. No, you're good. I mean, do you play any TCGs at all? Are you a TCG connoisseur? How about wild cards? We kind of actually made a wild card recently. For some reason, the text is off, but we made one based on our D&D character. Actually, it's a shapeshifter card, which kind of acts as other cards. For some reason, the text is shifted, but it's like shapeshifter. All right, let's shift the text. But yeah, so we made that one, but yeah, because so the deck here is basically based on even the dumbest ideas can be useful. Worst case scenario, you inspire others. Yeah, 100% agreed. Yeah, because like honestly, even like the ideas that everyone's saying, that even though they might not fully stick at the moment, I think they probably will stick at some point. Like I like Tuna's idea of playing a card that can actually maybe just can be returned to your hand. But I feel like oh crap, we're in an ad. I used to be obsessed with Pokemon as a kid, but sadly have no one to play D&D with. Yeah, I feel ya. Okay, I guess we're in an ad. Give me a minute and I will give me like 3 minutes. I'll be right back, and then we'll do another hour of ad-free viewing. So yeah, give me a sec. Be right back.
Randomness. It's what makes card games so interesting to play. The simple act of shuffling and drawing cards creates unpredictable outcomes, providing a unique and exciting experience every time. But what happens when this randomness becomes a detriment to the game? And how do you deal with that? Being able to address this issue can often mean the difference between a good card game and a bad one. Even the most popular games aren't immune to these pitfalls. Take Magic the Gathering, for example, one of the most popular trading card games of all time. It's not uncommon to find yourself drawing nothing but lands, or conversely, having no lands at all, leaving you with a unplayable hand. On the flip side, randomness can swing in the opposite direction too, drawing an incredible hand, leading you to completely dominate your opponents. While it's certainly fun for the player with the winning hand, it can be less enjoyable for everyone else at the table. So let me tell you how I counteracted it while working on my own game, and the battle I fought against inconsistency. In my game, players compete against the Old God, a collection of cards that present various challenges. Unfortunately, the balance of this deck was wildly unpredictable, often either leading to completely overwhelming the players, or failing to be a challenge at all, making the game unenjoyable either way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For those of you who aren't familiar with my game, which, let's be honest, is probably most of you, you might be wondering what the heck an Old God is and what the game is actually as a whole. Or maybe you don't care. I don't know your life. I'm going to talk about it anyway. So, in brief summary, here's how the game works. Armies Against Entropy is a cooperative resource management trading card game. Players place cards like heroes, structures, and lands to create synergies for themselves and also their allies. They then move units generated by their cards to enhance the power of the cards that they deem most necessary, all while battling the Old God, a deck of automated cards designed to dismantle the player's forces and serve as the main threat of the game. Now that you kind of have an understanding of the game, let's dive into how randomness became a problem. As I said before, the Old God deck was designed to present various challenges. This deck featured a large number of weaker cards and a few stronger ones. In theory, this meant the players would face a constant onslaught of minor threats, while occasionally encountering some much more intimidating ones. Let's talk a little more specifically though. Typically, the Old God would draw around 3 cards per turn with a total deck of 86 cards, 10 endlings in the deck as the weakest card. This design meant you were much less likely to draw something threatening like 3 Ravengers. The idea is that the Old God would have a nice assortment of cards due to its distribution. At least that's what I thought. However, there were many instances where this wasn't the case, and the Old God either felt pitiful or, conversely, an unstoppable onslaught of destruction. Speaking of unstoppable onslaughts of destruction, you should subscribe. I don't know how those two things correlate, but So what was the solution? Well, this came to me while I was trying to fix an entirely different problem, and that problem was the Abyssal Horde card. This card was a hell of my own making, and the bane of my existence for so many different reasons. But the main one that we'll be focusing on today was trying to solve an issue where it would gain in power every attack. Units were how the player gained power, but we didn't really want a similar mechanic for the Old God because we didn't really want to figure out how these units would be allocated each turn. The Abyssal Horde was somewhat of an exception to this rule, as it stole units from player cards. While this is a cool idea, it kind of fundamentally broke the game. Instead, we wanted to find another way for this card to gain in power using a different mechanic, while still sort of keeping the same identity. We had considered making the Abyssal Horde card duplicate itself with every attack, which could work well. However, that mechanic felt a little
Fun just hearing clang around in the background. Yeah, I forgot to mute myself.
rather than a physical one. And while I do have
We're gonna try to
aspirations
jump on the
make it
table and
more
just like fell
versatile game
backwards.
online, I
She's
really
fine,
want to
obviously,
make this
but
game more functional for
cats always land on their feet.
So the
Anyway.
solution-
Had to grab snacks and stuff, you know? Oops, wrong thing. Three family members called at once is getting comical. It's crazy. Sometimes I wish. Oh wait, I missed something. I bet you have good ideas in that noggin. Indeed, what Dinka said. Sometimes I wish I had less ideas. The amount of unfinished animations and games I have are ... Let's just say embarrassing. Well, sounds like you have good ideas then. Yeah, you can feel free to share. Actually, if you have any of those, any unfinished things that are shareable, definitely feel free to share them. We'd love to see your work. Yeah, sorry, I was grabbing snacks. Using World Ender's Death Effect to destroy a minion. Epic sauce. Nice. I love it. Let's see the unfinished things. I feel like sharing. Indeed. Twitch keeps breaking. Sad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's stupid. No, don't scratch my stuff. Thank you. Restart reality. Okay, I think we have some ideas. Let's come back to it when I have a fresh brain, when it's like mulled over in my head for a while. I've been trying to think of it for a while, but we're not really getting anywhere, at least not anywhere I'm happy with. I like all the ideas. I'm going to mull those over in my head, and then maybe by next stream I'll have better thoughts on that. So let's just let's pivot to drawing one of the cards we know we're going to let's do a land or a spell. You might feel yourself pop out of existence for a second. Don't panic. Okay. I'll try not to. Let's talk about what one we want to draw then. Let's see. I've got whatever sounds appealing to you, you guys just shout out, okay? I'm gonna read them all off to you. We got a spell which would be either called Suggestion or Hypnotic Melody, which allows you to choose a card or choose the targets of monsters and minions on that turn. We have Counter Offensive. This is also a spell. Gives you units equal to the number of minions on the board. You may place those units whenever you like. Mine/Cave. Cave is a good one. Place 4 units in unit phase. This is a land. The number is reduced by 1 for each minion alive. We'll see if the effect works, but we might have to nerf it, but fine. Dispel, which is just basically counterspell or whatever. It nullifies a curse. We got Bog, which would be like a wasteland or ruin, or like not wasteland. It'd be a land that grants you units when like bigger targets die. Growth, but with triggered effects. So I don't know what this would be called, but we could come up with a name for that if you guys want to, and then we could draw it. But basically it triggers triggered effects immediately. Field, which would just be a nice, basic one, which has an effect similar to God of Harvest, but it would kind of synergize with that deck. I don't know what this one would be called, but it would just trigger positive death effects instantly. It's a spell, so maybe, I don't know, reward or something. I don't know. I really don't know. Quest complete, and then we also have maybe like, again, I don't know what this would be called, but allows any card to attack, even if it has no attack icon, to make a single attack. Something like Rage or something like that, right? Can you explain more about your game? I'm Confusion. Okay, I can definitely do that. What about Quarry or Mine that can bring back a structure? I was thinking that, like a land that can bring back a structure. I don't think it would be we already had like an idea for the mine. But I would be happy to make a land that could, like, it's kind of like a necromancy altar land, right? There's 2 ways I could do this, Yui. I could either send you a 15-minute video for you to watch so you can understand the game completely, or I can give you like a brief overview. Actually, you know what? I could probably give you a briefer overview just by showing you one of these videos on one of my shorts. Hold on. Hold. Both? Okay. Hold. I'll send you this. Obviously, it would mean you wouldn't be able to watch the stream for a minute. Check that out in your spare time. The other thing I'll do is I'll just show you. Hold on. We'll pause the music for a second. I think this, honestly, we'll just show you the first few minutes of that video just to start. And then you can go watch more if you want. But just to get you an idea, I need to make this as like a, this is an ad. This is an ad. It's an ad. Oh, God. Sorry, we're fine.
This is Armies Against Entropy, a cooperative trading card game where you and a friend face the relentless onslaught of the old gods and their monstrous hordes. Choose your god, expand your domain,
It's probably quiet.
build mighty structures, and rally great heroes to defend this world you call home. Stand together, fight back, and strike down the old gods before they unmake all of existence. And this hand.
Can you hear that? This is the other part that would be worth watching. This is probably the more worthwhile part.
First, let me explain the goal. Your goal is to work together with a friend to defeat the old god. To do this, you will place cards on your turn, divert units to grant your cards more power, and attack the enemy forces. Once you've cleared the way, you can strike down the old god. Though be careful, the old gods look to do the same. Using their automated deck, they can attack you with powerful cards, dismantling your forces. If they can destroy all your cards, they can attack your god, and you lose the game. To play Armies Against...
That's the briefest overview. If you want to watch the rest of the video, I recommend checking it out. I need to make like an actual, like, this is Armies Against Entropy in 1 minute, and then like be able to show that on stream. I kind of forgot I wanted to make that because I was looking at those. I was like, oh yeah, those would be good. That would work as that video, but it's not quite that, you know. But yeah, here we are. Okay, restarted the simulation, living in, or we're all living in. Hope you can. Hope you didn't take your headsets off of ads. Indeed. What if I showed you crappy stuff that would make you feel more comfortable? That way I can make fun of you. Indeed. I'll check out. They can't make fun of you. I was like, can make fun. That's mean, Tuna, but no, I get it now. I'll check out the video. Yeah, honestly, it's probably gonna be a better bet. I need to make like a quick sort of intro to the game, but here we are. It's a cooperative TCG, is in short. But I do need to make a way that we can kind of quickly whatever. I do like that idea, Anonymous, though. Like necromancer altar, but for structures. What's a necromancer like land? Or I guess something that would rebuild like a land that would rebuild structures, you know? He said a mine, which I guess we kind of have idea for I guess the cave. I guess it's a cave. We could have a cave and a mine, but that seems redundant. He's always reading the opposite of people saying, and true. I just missed an apostrophe T, okay? Never really something officially related to my game yet. Something that I'm nervous about, making it from scratch and changing everything for the third time in a new game engine. Yep. It's more a internal struggle. We believe in you. Or Quarry. Yeah. Quarry's decent. Quarry would be better. Like, we could do a cave for one and a quarry for the other. Potentially. Workshop, build site, I like better. Construction equipment yard. Build site sounds like the... All right, hold on. build site. Quarry. Workshop doesn't make sense because that would feel like a structure. Construction equipment yard is too wordy. It could also be like something that would supply materials to build structures, like, you know, technically like something like a forest would work. Oh, wow, you're tired. The dyslexia is heavy. Construction equipment yard. What did I build site? Workshop. What did I say wrong? Did I read something? I probably read something wrong. My dyslexia was really bad. I thought it was my writing. No. What did I read wrong? Let me reread. Never released something like officially related to my game yet. It's something I don't know what ALR is. Nervous about making. I'm remaking it from scratch and changing everything for the third time in a new game engine. It's more of an internal struggle. What did I read wrong? Oh, I wrote something wrong. Oh, okay. I like Quarry. Yeah, Quarry's decent. I think it's pretty good. I could dig Quarry. Quarry. I don't know. It sounds. No, not there. Don't worry. Okay. You're good, bro. I'm just a dyslexic little guy. Okay. Well, I read that right, at least. Anyway, yeah, Quarry's pretty good. So we have a quarry and a cave. I think those are fair to be separate things, right? Tuna, didn't you have an idea for returning cards or something with like an ocean deck? You said something about a mermaid and then we got like on a tangent. I didn't write it down. It's like, then if that was like something that worked with like a sea deck, that could be kind of interesting. I'm not really worried about you retaining those viewers, but your content and personality is extremely entertaining to people who don't already care about board games, believe it or not. Well, thank you. Oh wait, did I miss something? Oh, I missed your first thing. I was like, but I want to open up conversation about something that I've been thinking about. How do you feel about doing special single streams where you switch categories? Initially I was right. I got you. I missed the first part, which applies the context. Suggesting dispatch because I think you'd love it, but doing something different to switch your category for streaming can bring in new audiences. Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense. He's like, you're very entertaining. Thank you. I think generally with streaming other categories, I think part of the problem is that usually people have like an expectation when coming into a stream, right? Like you expect one thing. Like imagine this is a show, right? And imagine if we're watching the show and then all of a sudden the show is something different, right? Then you're breaking expectations of what people are like wanting to get, right? Granted, yeah, you're right. If I'm doing different things, then people will probably still like, if they like me, they'll like watching it. Maximus has said it a billion times, but he's like, I'd watch you driving down the interstate. And I'm like, well, thanks, dude. So it's not that I'm against switching stuff up, but it would be, yeah, it 100% would be a special stream if I'm to do it, you know? I think a lot of time playing video games, I'd rather do it I usually do that as like a collaboration thing, right? I want to see you play a dating sim, but I'm the sim. Yes, true, Han. I'm definitely behind already, but I'm trying to get my thoughts out on this. So collaborations, I like doing gaming. Like we did a lot of Minecraft stuff. That I think was good. And Minecraft's also a creative game. I feel like it kind of is like at least somewhat on brand. Like if I'm playing just like a random game, then whatever. If I do play games, I think it's going to be more of a special event where it's like I will play it for a single stream. The biggest reason I have like I'm worried about something like Dispatch is like if people want me to play it on stream and it takes, you know, 7 to 12 hours or whatever it is, then that's like 3 streams, right? Let me read through here and see what we're saying. You could do something similar you did with Waste Haven, but if a structure, but for a structure, when a structure is played or lost, the card gains units. Yeah. Honestly, I think I was gonna do like a bog or something for that. I think that would be cool. Which I think I wrote down somewhere here. But yeah, good call on that. I completely get what you're saying. Oh God. Yeah, my dyslexia is really bad right now. I apologize, y'all. I get it completely. I've always had that struggle and didn't even want to make stuff because I didn't want to make something subpar. Yeah, it's a struggle for sure. But you guys are awesome and creative and talented. So I think you make cool stuff, and sharing it is helpful, and we will never give you crap for that. So it's a safe space, if you will. My only expectation is that you are on screen. Optional. I want to see you play a ding. Oh, I read that one. The thing is, you built a community that cares about you, and you can afford variety currently. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess that's the question, right? Like, would people prefer variety? Like, are you getting bored of this, right? Are you getting bored of watching me make cards, draw cards, talk about game design? Would you prefer I switch up my content, right? Because I definitely want to do like special streams where, you know, maybe it is gaming. I really liked doing D&D. I think that was great, and I think that brought in new people and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like the problem with doing something like Dispatch is that it's extremely popular right now, and if you're in a category that has like 20 billion people or whatever, right, you're gonna be at the bottom. You know, like you have to play games. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't done any research on the Dispatch category, but that can if it's oversaturated, then you're just kind of going to be there and no one's going to recognize you, right? So like you kind of have to play the right games in order to show up in the algorithm, more or less. Play date everything. If you will play something related and give you cringier alternatives. Because to be honest, I 100% believe that people are here for you and not what you're doing. Sure, your main content itself plays a good part in why I'm here, but most importantly, we're here for you. Thank you guys. This makes a perfect example of a streamable games because You can ask us for a few options, discuss the story with us, and pause whenever you're making a decision and see what we think. It's very interactive and collaborative in that way. Yeah, that's fair. I definitely want, I want to play Dispatch, but also, honestly, one of my biggest trepidations for playing new games like that is I don't have money to spend right now. I don't have money to like freely spend on stuff like that. If it's a free game or a game I already have, sure. Like we did Inscription for a while. That was like forever ago when it was like just Maximus, but we did do Inscription, and we could do more of that. But at the same time, I'd almost like rather just do more D&D or something, you know, at that point. If you make a community as a game, it has to be a date natal B sim. That's my game jam. 2, are you going to do the game jam? I know you have been teetering on whether to do or not, but... And be bald. True. What about having your regularly scheduled program, but do occasionally bonus streams on your off days, or do something you like to do? Yeah. I almost feel like I'm streaming too much, to be honest. Because I don't really have a ton of time to work on video content because yeah, like video content's kind of how you grow, and streaming like is nice, and we might find more people through streaming, but it's really not the way to grow, unfortunately, unless I get like lucky and get rated, you know. I mean, maybe we'll get 1 or 2 people here or there, but having like a YouTube video get, you know, 100,000 views is probably a lot better than a stream that gets, you know, 15 views instead of 6 or whatever, you know. Shrug, I don't know. That's just thoughts though, right? But I could do, you know, if I'm gaming anyway, I could be streaming, right? Like on the weekend. Like I'll probably be gaming at some point, you know. But like, I don't know. At the same time, like I don't want to like be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be playing PUBG with my friends. Like, do I force them to like be part of the stream? You know what I'm saying? Or like Baldur's Gate or something. Like, do I make it so it's like, okay, you guys have to like be part of the stream and not like goof around or say anything, you know, too inappropriate or whatever, you know? It's not that I'm bored. I just want to want you to succeed as much as possible. So I really think doing variety is great for that. Dispatch has been out for a bit now, so a lot of less people playing it. When you play Blueprints, where I've seen, well, my brother was playing Blueprints the other day and I was kind of watching him play it, but Where the Wind Meets, never heard of that one. Date Everything, also haven't heard of that one. Barring your previous mention of it. Or a game where it's popular this year but not as much right now. Yeah, for sure. I like the game dev stuff. It's unique. Yeah, I think there's like a balance to be found between like I think doing, you know, stuff. I think Chu's probably right. Like something off my schedule, right? Where it's like whenever I do something, like I could do stuff. Honestly, I've been very tempted to switch my schedule to Tuesday, Thursday, and then just do stuff on the weekend, and then like weekend stuff could be like more whatever. But I haven't fully decided on that, and that gives me more time to work during the week where I'm either working my other job to make actual money or doing more editing. But I don't know. I haven't fully decided on that yet. I love AAE, but only because it's Beats that's behind it. So other creator, I wouldn't have nearly as much faith in the project. That's fair. I'm gonna type something long, but I'm lazy, so I'm just gonna say variety is good both for us and for growth, but most importantly, it's part of what you enjoy what you're doing on stream. I was considering it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it too. Like, I like gaming. I like playing with my friends and stuff, right? But I also like, I don't see myself wanting to stream something that's not creative, like as my job, you know? But yeah, I mean, probably I need a break from this anyway, so I should probably I've just been yapping. Let's just, oh God, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I should probably just do this because we're just yapping for a minute. I'm probably almost done reading. Well, actually, I don't know if I'm caught up yet. But yes, so I don't know. I mean, I think you're I don't know, actually. I don't know whether it's better to do variety or if it's better to just stick to the same stuff, right? Because like people do value consistency despite like whether they think so or not, right? But I guess variety is also a good thing. I guess I am the consistency, right? I guess is kind of the thing, but shrug. Also, like, well, I was about to say my Minecraft content hasn't done as well, but it's also because it's late. But even like the late people aren't necessarily always there. So that's like, I'm unsure of that as well. So I don't know, there's always a lot to think about as far as like trying to figure out how to succeed. Doing a game jam. When is it? If you look at the Discord, there's notes on that. It is December 5th. It is a board game jam. So yeah, not for video games, but yeah, we're doing, you can make like a card game or a board game or a RPG or whatever. That's the whole thing. It will be on my Discord server December 5th, just in 4 days. Just so you guys are aware, I really need to like figure this out, but I guess it's going to be Thursday at midnight, technically, right? Because it'll give you all Friday to do it. Which it kind of, in hindsight, I probably would have done it differently, but I also wanted to account for people in, you know, Europe, right, where it's much later for you guys. So I wanted to be able to give you Friday, or like if I started the game jam on Saturday, I didn't want to start it like in midday or whatever. So whatever, here we are. Both wouldn't be this good under another dev, and also wouldn't be this invested in its development / channel if it was someone else. Yeah, right. I mean, I guess that's kind of how that works, right? Like it's yeah, I mean, I think I don't really know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have any notes on that. I'm between survival horror and natal B dating sim. There you go. Well, we'll have the I really got to think up the jam title, or the theme, but I'm sure you could work it in there. I don't think you could stream too much for us. It just depends on how much time you want to spend streaming. I mean, I would stream all the time if it was worth it, I guess, right? But I know you guys would appreciate me streaming more, but I also think it would be potentially not beneficial for me, right? I think I speak for most of us when I say we'd watch you at any time. Yeah. Thank you. Do it, bro. Yeah, weekend streams are great for more viewers. Yeah, and honestly, the nice part about weekend streams is it means all of you could be here, even like the people who are, you know, in America and the people who are, you know, late time zones, right? As long as, like, if I do it in the like morning or afternoon, it probably would be good for you guys whatever. But then it also means like my normal everyday life is kind of weird because like, oh yeah, I'm going to do something with my family this weekend. It's like, well, no, you got stream, you know, I don't know, kind of hard to say, but obviously I can always postpone, but I'd rather stick to a schedule. Holding your friends hostage to play games is the best thing ever. Plus the extra jokes, and stuff makes it funny. Moha. I mean, it's true. I mean, my friends can be funny. No, it's just more, I don't know. I don't want to like, hey, let's all relax. You're like, yeah, you're relaxing for the weekend, and just being like, oh, hey, you kind of have to be like, you know, on and not shut off your brain. You have to actually like think about what you're doing. Surrender to the evil, indeed. Assuming your friends are comfortable on stream, I wouldn't be. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm kind of getting at. I mean, my friends probably would be comfortable enough on stream, but at the same time, like, you know what I mean? Well, it's not so much on screen as far as like visuals. I think it's more like just talking and stuff, you know? Dude, the Minecraft stream was in the middle of my midterms. Ah, I see. Fair. I mean, like, you don't want, yeah, voice. Yeah. I get nervous joining VCs without with people I don't talk to often. This is not getting on a live stream. Yeah. This, but also that type of content is a lot less interactive as well. Exactly. That's true. Yeah, I guess that's, yeah. Since he was focusing on playing and interacting with other streamers, it was good. Don't get me wrong, Beats, but deviated from the norm a lot. Yeah, and that's kind of why I also don't want to necessarily do more. You know, I think that's probably one of the things I have going for me with stream is that, yeah, actually, you just said it at the end here. Ironically, the dyslexic Beats reads chat more than the majority streamers. Yes, that's kind of like my. I try to make sure I read everything, right? And so when I'm playing games like that, I miss a lot. Yap on Discord with randos a lot. Plus, I yap too many people in real life. I never shut the fuck up. This reminded me of one of the other main concerns with your stream is viewer interaction. I found that you to be more interactive than most other streamers I've watched. A few that I've chatted in. Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, I think that's important, right? Like it's the whole point of streaming. Like I could just be making videos and not talking to anyone if I wanted to like not interact with people. But yeah, which is why like, you know, playing games like that is harder. Obviously, like, you know, if I'm doing a collaboration stream, there's a chance I'm not going to be interacting with you as much just because like based on how they interact with their chat. Right. Because I'm not gonna like deviate from what they want, like you know, or like how they do their stuff, right? I don't know. And they're my sole attention, right? If I'm playing with other people, and then you know, you guys obviously like it's kind of like having a friend over, right? It'd be weird if you were on the phone with someone else the whole time, you know? That's kind of how it is. Like you're inviting someone into your stream. You can't just like, you know, text someone the whole time. Not only is read chat, but your ideas make it into the game. Yeah. If you want to watch something live and not interact with it, we watch the news. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. It's, yeah, I'm kind of unsure. Like, I like the idea of doing games. Yeah, I would definitely be specific. I'd almost rather be doing something where I'm doing creative stuff, right? Because that's what I enjoy, right? I do play games, right? Like me and my friends play PUBG. We've been like recently we've been playing what's it called? Baldur's Gate. We've been playing stuff like that, but yeah, Actually, I literally go to smaller streamers because of how I like the community and it's tight knit and everyone talks to each other. I think it's the funniest part of the, I think this is the funniest part of a stream. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the funnest, not funniest. I was like, it's like, that's, I'm like, all right, is that funny? No, funnest. I can't read. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's also why I usually do like, I like watching smaller streamers myself as well, is because the interaction is fun. I guess sometimes even small streamers don't interact like super well with their community either, though. And you can easily get into a spot where, like, right now, like, I was supposed to be dyslexia is hitting harder. It's true. I'm a tired boy. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that being smaller makes streaming less sustainable. Yeah, I mean, eventually we'll get to a point where I can't read everything, right? Like, if I was actually trying to focus on my work, I couldn't be reading everything, right? If I was like, okay, yeah, we're really gonna lock into working on art right now or whatever, I probably wouldn't be able to read your stuff as much, you know? But instead we're yapping, which is fine. I think we're all enjoying our time here. Maybe some of us at least. But I agree with you, Tuna. I think I can do that. I just don't think playing games is necessarily going to be like, I could see doing like a once a month game thing, but I don't think that that's really what I'd want to do as a streamer, you know? Because I think like, I don't know. What, Toot? The fact that you read everything as much as your attitude towards it, I really take our comments into consideration, and that's what's beautiful about your style. Thank you. Exactly what I was trying to construct in my head. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I try. You said I'm thinking about doing some games. Then you said I don't want to. I would. It's just I'm not going to consistently, right? It's like it would be like a special event sort of thing, you know? Like I will do gaming content, but I don't think it's going to be a regular thing. Yeah, I'm putting you on a roller coaster of emotion, too. I don't know, like, would you do gaming on your stream, too? Like, I feel like you wouldn't. I know you're going for more like a professional vibe. You've thought about it. Like, as bonus content. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Like, it would be like something I would do additionally. If you want Dispatch, I'll contribute as much as I can for you to buy it. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think we're streaming on this account 2 streams. Double stream. They don't call them two streams for nothing, you know? Nilby already owns Dispatch. Do I? Did someone just buy it for me? No, I don't. He's probably about to send it to me, though, because that's something Toot would do. It seems like a Toot thing to do. Anyway, no, it's not. Uh-huh. Toot's just a nice guy. But yeah, I mean, again, I would play it. It's just not, I think it would be a special event, like a once a month thing. Like I said, like that I would do with D&D as well. Like a once a month D&D stream. I I think we'll also do more content in general like that, like more special event sort of stuff, because it does. I agree with you, doing more different stuff makes sense, and we probably will do that. But it also does mean the movement on the game will probably slow to almost a halt is my biggest problem. But here we are. Two, if you do it, I will hug you platonically in front of your wife. On topic, let's dive down. Let me say the Blood Moon Assassin is probably quite OP. Yeah. Even more so with altruism. Yeah, I'm kind of not surprised. Honestly, Beats, I get what you mean. I wouldn't want to stream games if I was a streamer either. How about maybe doing something different, like painting physically, using another medium, art, other crafts, like that, maybe like making dice or other creative things, you know, just to, they're more up your alley. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like I want to do, we could do D&D stuff, right? I do have an idea for a sort of collaborative thing. I've talked about this multiple times, but like where we sort of start a game and I go between a bunch of different streamers and pass it off to like, I pass it off to like, we like go between multiple streamers and like have them help collaborate on a game, and we kind of all make a game together, and it will be like this big giant game project. And then the community can also like interject their stuff. So it's like more still kind of game making ish. I could see doing like, honestly, the biggest problem with like, what you're saying, Yui, is the setup of a stream setup like that, but it is something I've done, right? Like I have done, you know, a lot of like physical crafting, like obviously like all that stuff is stuff I made, so we could do stuff like that. But yeah, sounds cool. But yeah, I agree, I could definitely do that. That would be more of a setup though too, right? Like it's not something I can just like sit down and do, you know. I like your session. I just think it can be important to switch categories, right? Should send Beats a huge marble block for him to sculpt over a year over streams, like half a ton of marble. Natal agree. Natal B, I agree. With one to go off topic, French Fry is technically a company account, so I hesitate to do it on there. For you though, this is you, you know? Yeah. If you have a Lunacam so you can set it up and show your hands, you just work on stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've done it. It'd be hard to do like stuff on my desk. Like if I did like resin crafting or something, I could do sculpting maybe, but I wouldn't do like, you know, resin pouring or something. Like that would have to be in my garage, and that would be different. I did one stream where I cut like the cards out for what's it called? Blight of Blackridge. Like I did like a physical card cutting and sleeving stream, which was cool, but yeah. Yeah, we should. I agree. Natal B's evil brother. Natal Gree. Oh, Natal Gree. Yes, my evil brother. Natal Gree with you. I Natal Gree with you. Oh god. Nope. Just dyslexicing a dyslexic phrase that I've dyslexiced. You could do a special stream where you make an AE related prop. That'd be cool. Like an endling figure. I could do sculpting and stuff. The question is how often to do that, right? It's the easiest to just sit down and work on the game, right? It's definitely the easiest to just sit down and work on this. We could do other stuff, but then this game's never getting done, right? That's kind of like my biggest issue, right? But plus you have a lot of traditional art experience. Sort of. I'm not really a good painter, like physical painting. I can do like sculpting kind of. I technically don't have a lot of experience with it, but I've seen your shit. I know. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's 100% traditional art. Like you couldn't see me doing like an oil painting that's like great, but I get what you mean. More like physical medium. Very really special occasion thing. I mean, yeah, like I said, the D&D thing was one, right? And that worked out well. Maybe some art that you enjoy. Yeah, I mean, we could just do a drawing. Like, we could just art. Doesn't have to be physical. Yeah, I mean, we could just... We don't give a crap about what you're good at. We want to watch you make art. Fair. Yeah, like, I could just draw art, right? Like, we could just do... I don't know. Like, just digital art of something unrelated to armies, right? Like, we could I wanted to maybe make another one of these. Hold on. Hold. Please hold. Hold. Oh god. This might be really loud. Let's start very quiet. Oh, I'm not even showing it. There it is. I could do one of these again. It's literally just an idle animation, but I thought it'd be cool to do another one of these. So like, I could do stuff like that, right? Like, let's go, okay, let's draw and animate something. Yeah, that's my boy. That's Robity Bot. This just goes for like 2.5 or 2 minutes, but so we could do something like that, but I don't know. This is a good song. I'm just listening to it out at this point. I think changing your routine completely is different conversation altogether. We're asking you to change your... We'd be asking you to change your content. It's not something I'm really thinking about. I think it's... Everything you're doing is great so far. Yeah, true. Yeah, just use special events, right? I guess we gotta figure out... hopefully that... I was about to say, hopefully that song's royalty free, but I know it is. Let's mute that, and then let's go back to music. Yeah, that's fair. I think we just have to figure out how to schedule specific content, right? Yeah, like art pieces like this, right? I feel like that'd be, I guess, without advisor, whatever. Yeah, we'd have to figure out how to schedule that, but I'm totally down. Just we'd have to figure it out. Oh, we know there's, never mind, 5 minutes till the ad. I'm talking about small additions, not changing the core content. Yeah. Actually, aren't there fonts for dyslexic people? There is. Look at that. Wow. Dyslexic font. It helps only so much. It's raining, it's pouring. Hey, he's so badass and menacing. Thank you. Yeah. That's my boy. That's my boy Robity Bot. Also, Beats, by the way, we wouldn't mind you doing some type of activity like Gartic Phone. Yeah, Gartic Phone would be kind of cool. Something with chat. Yeah, I have some trepidations for doing stuff with chat. Obviously, that wouldn't be bad. Mostly chat and VC. That's one of the biggest. I know a lot of you, right? Like a lot of you, it's pretty tight knit. Like we know each other. I figure if you say something like on stream that you shouldn't, like, you know that you shouldn't say it and I can ban you and you don't want that, right? Because you're here enough. But that is something something that I'm a little trepidatious about because I've seen it go badly before. That's all. So I would have to vet people, but I don't know exactly how to do that and what way would seem fair, right? Anyway, absolute hell yeah energy. Thank you. That's super sick, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. I need a Tebow project collab. Ooh, yeah, music. Have some music with I was thinking about that. That'd be kind of cool. I love it. Thank you. Is music your art? That would be pretty cool. I could dig that. Actually, aren't there? Yeah, there are. Yeah. I didn't know. Yes, there are. It's I don't know. I can't really tell you how well it works, but it seems to help a little bit. But yeah, I remember seeing that robo portrait on the right and pooping my pants. Robo portrait back in the day. Oh, like, was it this one or this one? Fun fact, this guy is the helmet back there, the one that's flickering. So I made a real physical whatever of that. Anyway, chat and drawing is arguably a lot more dangerous than VC. Dangerous than VC. Well, that's fair. Yeah. Oh, I did not mean in VC. Lots of streamers play art phone without VC. Just chat. Yeah. That's fair. I've seen both, right? Hey, it's really fun. Yeah. I'm immediately going to draw the most horrific imagery known to mankind. I do not trust anyone. Right. Fair. But I like Arctic Phone suggestions a lot. I've seen that type of content and it goes good. Yeah, for sure. Usually people are respectful enough to not want them to, get banned. Want me to ban them, Joke aside, Arctic Phone could be fun, but you'd have to vet people. But you'd have to not make it an obvious test. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, anyone can join. And it's like, but not anyone can join. Like if we have some random person that we've never met before, I don't necessarily want them here, I was like, holy, natal B is freaking G. Thank you, dude. Natal B freaking G. Can't wait. Good. But yeah, this guy's cool too. Yeah, I got to maybe we do some normal art. This one's cute. Wait. This one. Just cute. We're in an ad. I don't trust myself in Arctic Phone and VC. I finally recovered my Discord account to where I won't get banned. But I love drawing. The drawing part. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, I need to finish this drawing at some point. I never finished it, but it needs to be done. I think I've seen every single possible Twitch TOS violation doable with just visuals on a singular Arctic Phone session multiple times. It's fair. We're in an ad. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Because yeah, it's cool. I'd never finished the big guy in back, and honestly, I'd just probably redo all the line art, but the reason I have a hard time drawing like weapons in a hand and drawing them like in 3D perspective. Yeah, it's the team, the squad. Anyway. Oh, I forgot about this one. How did I forget about this? Is it not gonna load? There we go. Cat. Today's stream is just chatting stream. It is, apparently. Yeah, most people are like very horrible at drawing. They can't even get banned. Skill issue. True. Which is a category you could add, honestly. Yeah, it is. Again, that's one that's like so saturated, you probably won't get much in there. It is like the most watched one, but I think that's partly because the people who stream in it are extremely popular, right? Oh, the friends I was playing with were skilled, but they were not using it for good. There you go. Nail B. Exhibition review stream. I was tempted to do like an art, like my old art, a stream of just showing like my childhood art. I thought that would be kind of fun. And maybe we like find one we like and we redraw it or something. I think that would be kind of fun. I don't think you'd lose anything for adding it because it's technically part of what you do every stream. Right. Fair. I mean, honestly, I'm a like art streamer, basically art and game design streamer. So I could just do any of that kind of stuff and it'd be fine. My best friend drew Scooby shape making out. I know what you mean. Womp womp. LB portfolio exhibition stream. Yeah. Man, when's the last time you did a drawing piece for yourself? Like a large whatever one, probably like half a year ago. Well, that's not 100% true. I did some drawing. It just wasn't like a fully finished one. Other. Hey, it's this one. I did that one like I don't know. I posted on Discord when I posted it, so I'm losing my voice, y'all. Which is bad because it might mean I'm getting sick, but it might mean I've just been talking a lot. When did I post that one? I'm talking about a guy who drew a beep and 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 an upward angle. Okay, good. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I want to stay innocent. Thank you very much. You found us during the D&D stuff, right? Yeah. Right? No, this is sick, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Also, I don't want to get banned again. True. When did I do this? This was in... Did I post this in your creations, right? Oh god, it's been a while, huh? That was April 8th. So it's been a while. Nope. There we go. There's Guppy. Oh my god. I love beep with beep with beep, and it's also cool. Yeah. You do not, I can assure you. No, I mean I did some stuff. I mean, I drew like some just like doodles, but it wasn't like a full art piece. But I don't know. I mean, maybe I should just draw some stuff that's like unrelated. But you can see past my sensor, my evil side has been revealed. Dun dun dun. Like I drew this, which was like just kind of random. Do you didn't see the finished free run art? Can I see? Oh, it was never really finished. That one I drew. That was fun. That one turned out cute. It's kind of sketchy, but it's cute. Free run. I think it was just a sketch. Yeah, that's all it turned out. It was wild. We did for context, I was asking people what we should do, and we did free run, but it was in a JoJo pose. Was what we did, which kind of turned out wild. So love sushi with dumplings on top of pasta and pizza is also cool. True. Keep it like that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm totally down to do more like random stuff, but it was with ketchup on peanut butter. I'm sorry. Oh no. Yeah, I have to stretch. It's necessary. Oh. So yeah, I don't know. I've yapped a lot. I think we're basically out of time now. But forgive me. No, never. There's a seal. I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, some of these were cool. I would like to do like another one like this again. Lean in. Oh yeah, that was those are some emotes I did for one of my friends. There's the far head emote, lean in emote. There's checkers. I don't know why. Oh, it's not enabled. Hold on, can I just copy image? Copy image address. I'll do that. Yeah. There's a drawing of checkers. I guess he's also, I also have a mini me of him, so it's not that weird. Sweaty Casuals. Yeah, that was his like podcast. He was like podcast him and one of my other friends was gonna do. It was like a game podcast thing, I think. I don't really know exactly what it was gonna be. It's kind of a brand. All right, sit-ups, and then we're probably gonna have to call it. I probably am gonna go do some more work for my brother, make some more money, you know. Ugh. Oh, not really. There we go.
Lean in emote is just my normal posture 24/7. I always have back pain, but it's the cost of being an animator and programmer.
I missed all of that. I completely missed that. The lean and emo is just my normal posture 24/7. I always have back pain, but it costs me being an animator and a programmer. Here, I've got an emote for you. There you go. I don't know why it's a tier 3, but there it is. Yeah, I don't really want to stop streaming, but I probably should because I need to make money so I can still live here, so I can keep making content. Jax needs an AE content creator. Jax needs an AE content creator and esports player. There you go. Professional esports player. You can't just say that and not share anything. So painful. Yeah. Suffer till it's out. No. We have a teaser coming out around the end of December, early January. Heck yeah, definitely share it. Come live in my house and I'll pay you. You'll pay me to live with you. That was kind of the joke when my brother was like wanting me to come live here. Like live in the same city. He was like, I'll pay you $16 a month to come live with me. So yeah, it's funny. But yeah, I can't talk anymore. I think we're done. I think we've been yapping too long. We've lost all our viewership. It's just you four. Not really, but I'll give you 17 a month. There you go. Anywho's. Yeah, I mean, I could also do like, you know, a prop making. I could do sculpting. I think that could be interesting. We can maybe do some like sculpt like an AE character or something. It could be interesting, you know. But the Fantastic Four, what's that in reference to? We need the context window again. Us. Oh, you're the Fantastic Four. Yeah. Okay. Spam the context window emote. I forgot. Thank you. I need to update this too. I just have like a ton more props I can put on here. But here we are. Thank you. Any hoodles. Well, we got some thoughts done. We'll do a quarry. We'll do a cave. We'll do a card that lets you attack at any time, and we'll do field. So we got a few cards planned out. Yeah, this is basically just to make sure I'm not, you know, super bogged down in what we're doing. But yeah, to fully answer your question, yes, I can do more stuff unrelated. I don't know if that will be bonus streams or not. Again, I am tempted to switch up our schedule, but I'm unsure. It's like I always feel like whatever I do isn't quite the right schedule, but I don't know. I got to figure out like my like family's schedule and then decide what I do from there. I don't know. Write down C card ideas that return to that hand real quick if you want to. Write down the C card ideas that return to your hand real quick if you want to remember. Okay, sure. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, we could put the C as a return to hand card, but what was the concept? Should I go back? Like, do you remember it, or do I need to go back and look at the VOD? Give me a sec. I'm gonna get ice too much on to munch on while watching the stream. We're probably not going to be here much longer, but ice is the best snack. That's wild. Just don't break your teeth. I agree that crunching ice is nice, but don't break your teeth. That's my only recommendation. If you consider getting a blood test, you may be iron deficient. Ah, is that a thing that people do? Munching on ice when they need iron? I have really bad anemia and feel dizzy 24/7, but it's okay. Well, that makes sense then. Merman was just a hero that returns to the hand when low enough. C would give units when stuff returns. Ah. Okay, let's maybe actually, you know what? There's a good chance I actually did write this down. Yeah. Wait, no. It was here somewhere though. Yeah, this one. I kind of like that idea. Merman made slash yeah mermaid gains whatever. Returns to hand when lower than X units. So then it could still die, but if it's at like 2 or less units, it returns to your hand and then you can play it again and then it gains. It would probably also have to have like an X number of units sort of thing. There's also the option of the god that can return stuff, maybe be spread the remaining units across the returning cards to everything else. Or more interesting, use the unit's attack when stuff returns. Yeah. I think that'll be a separate god for sure, like God of the Sea or something, but I can see the mermaid being in the humanity deck. Because then it would proc off of the returns to the hand when under 2 units when placed. Start with 3 units. So it's kind of like Osgathian Warrior, where it starts with a set number of units, but then returns to your hand if lower than a certain number of units. However, it can still die if it takes all the damage it would take. So it's kind of interesting. What if Mermaid returned your hand after every single attack? Was that too broken? It would be broken or bad just because then you would have to place it again, unless if it auto places itself, right? We could make a card that like places itself for free, right? The units get deleted when the hero goes back into hand. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I guess we could make... Well, I think C wouldn't necessarily work in this deck unless we built more to like for stuff returning to your hand, but it could potentially work. I don't think it would be good enough unless we really centered the deck around returning cards. We might only need to make one structure here as well. We might be able to just use Necromancy Altar because that's seeming like that could work well, right? But I see it being played for free when returning, but I still think that's, if it kept returning like that, you could be confusing. Yeah, I think it's kind of broken then if that were the case. Upsize the card keeps existing. Yeah. We could have something like that where it's like it's played when it attacks, it goes back into your hand. Actually, I don't know. That could kind of work. It can never tank, but it can always be placed. I kind of like that, actually, the more I think about it. Or when attack, it is placed back in your hand. Card can be played for free during play phase, but cannot during play phase. So yeah, you can play it for free in play phase, and then it attacks and it goes back into your hand. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. So you can get the benefit out of the placement mechanic, but then it comes back into your hand, which yeah, I kind of like that better. That's cool. Also kind of makes sense for a mermaid, like they're kind of dipping under the water and dipping out, you know, like going in and out of the water. That kind of feel, diving, you know. That's why I like the return mechanic. It's tough on unit economy, but it makes the card economy better. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. I'm trying to decide if a sea land would make sense then, because you'd have Necromancy Altar potentially returning cards. You'd have Mermaid. We would literally need to make every other card about returning cards, though. Like the statue idea, like that could return itself. I don't think that quite works. I don't think a land is good enough unless the land itself can return cards. Well, we do have the quarry idea, which would return cards to your, or which would return structures to your hands, right? A unit effect that returns structures to your hand. I just don't know if it's powerful enough unless the card itself can also return cards to your hand. Your card never die because it keeps dipping into the sea, which is your hand in this case, but they keep sacrificing units to do so. Yeah. We gotta see. We gotta think about it. Tuna with the jokes. Remember when I said I probably should be done and it's been half an hour? I have a way to simplify that. No, it has to be a triggered effect. I don't know if it can be an ability and it can't have an ability and a triggered effect, which is kind of annoying, but we could make it work. Like once per turn, you can return a card to your hand, and then returning a card to your hand gives you a large number of units. I kind of like that. It was accidental, but I'm naturally funny. I'm just that naturally funny. Indeed. Indeed you are, Tuna. Honestly, I think we only need to make one structure then, which might be the statue. Like when placed, gain whatever. We'll see. It might change slightly, but I think for now, let's call it that. And that removes one additional card we need to make, which is kind of nice. Because Necromancy Altar just fits in the deck then. It's an interesting effect, but it removes the option of a Sea God. Yeah, I don't know. We can make it work. You will buy two. Oh wait, did I miss? Oh, heading out for lunch, pal. If I missed the end of your stream, thank you for the great. If I missed the end of your stream, thank you for the great stream today. Thank you, Toot. I appreciate you being here as always. Thank you, thank you. Eat well, indeed. I don't read because my baby brain can't maintain focus without funny moving pictures. But I love hearing about books. Fair. Oh, so any good books you're into? I totally missed that one. Yeah, my brain, I'm too dyslexic for books, unfortunately. I read comics a lot, like webtoons, but my brain's not too dyslexic for books. I read them too slowly. Yeah, I don't do enough like travel or anything to listen to audiobooks. Like usually I'll listen to like podcasts if I'm doing something like that. But I definitely wouldn't be opposed to an audiobook, you know. I used to do book summaries in school and they still made me emotional. I like a good, I mean, the thing is like a good audiobook or podcast is good if you're like walking around and like doing chores, you know, or like driving. It's like a good when it's good to listen to one of those. All right, these are pretty much locked in what we're doing. And we'll see if that ends up changing, but for now, this is the set abilities we will have left. And we'll make all these cards and we'll see. Obviously, there's a potential for someone to claim something for a redeem, but that may or may not be put into a sort of beta deck, which means the price on AE cards may be increasing. Oh, we didn't do a Beats card. Well, I have Beats on here. I just have no ability for it yet, but we'll come up with that later. I think it's time for me to be done. I can't talk anymore. My throat hurts. I think just from talking, but hopefully I'm not getting sick. But Wednesday we will be doing a I don't know if we're gonna stream and like our normal stream and then do a Blight of Blackridge play test or what, but we are definitely doing a Blight of Blackridge play test later in the day, so I will see. I don't know. we'll have to see. I gotta sit down, fully focus on podcast and audiobooks. Interesting. I hate audiobooks. Can't focus with them at all. I can't hear shit. I would rather read myself. That's fair. My bestie is a book reader, so she always gives me summaries. There you go. That's cute. If you give summaries, they will be endless discussion. Hee hee hee. Keep us in your thought. Bye, King. Keep us in your thoughts. I will always. Bye, Beat. Don't threaten me with a good time. All right, y'all. Yeah, I think we're gonna be done. We'll yeah. So I'm not sure what we'll do Wednesday, but I'll keep you posted. I've got a lot going on. So, and of course, Game Jam Thursday at midnight for us. Probably different for the rest of y'all, but it'll be midnight my time when I will post the theme. So that's how I'll do it. Yeah. Anyway, let's find someone to raid, right? Let's game and jam. What is your time zone? EST. I'll probably do a post before I go do things today. Just to like kind of like doing like one last reminder that the game jam is in whatever, and then when we actually will be doing it. So anyone got any thoughts on anyone to raid, or should we just find someone new? Why do you look familiar? I think maybe I raided you before. I guess a lot of people I'm following. So 9 a.m. for me. Tempic 404. All right, let's see. Sometimes it like doesn't let me search, but let's see. Temptic 404. Software and game development. Sure. Why not? YOLO, right? We'll meet someone new. All right. Preparing to build an early playtest. Pinball roguelike. That sounds fun. All right, y'all. I will see you all Wednesday. Again, I don't know if I'm doing 2 streams or 1 stream or what, but we'll see. Shut up, Clanker. Wait, that was so mean. Why Tuna? Is there an AI in here? Clanker. Anyway, I love how they stole that from Star Wars. Anyway, see y'all later. I will see you all. Where did that come from? The bot. Oh, Siri. I gotcha. I will see you all Wednesday, and we'll figure out what the heck we're doing. So anyway, appreciate all the talk. We'll talk more about special streams as well. Probably after the game jam. We probably won't do anything too crazy until after that, but we'll see. Anyway, love y'all. Bye. Have a good one. Toodles. Farewell.